I'm going to start by showing you a picture of somebody, and I'm just curious if you know who it is.
No, I don't think I know who that is.
Do you know, does the name Popcorn Sutton ring a bell?
It doesn't, but it sounds like it should be familiar. Is he a musician?
No, he was one of the last moonshiners from the hills of Tennessee.
Ah, well, he's not the last.
Well, so you're actually already helping make a point to a degree. So Popcorn Sutton would have, kind of maybe claimed to have been the last of his kind. He put out this video that he recorded of himself, in the hills of eastern Tennessee, making what he claimed was his last batch. And again, last of his kind. So this on this photo here, this is his worm.
That's the tubie.
That's the worm. Yeah, that you cool. And so he was legendary moonshiner. But I think that he was essentially untouched by modernization, and I think there's not a lot of that left.
No.
Especially in Tennessee, you look at Jack Daniel's, like compared the branding compared to it's like it's a world-class facility. It's not Popcorn Sutton, in the mountains making moonshine. I think he was, he's authentic. He's an authentic mountain man, authentic backwoods kind of guy. And he wasn't driven by fame or fortune, but he ended up there was this guy named Johnny Knoxville who was a part of Jackass.
Yeah.
Jackass? And Johnny Knoxville interviewed Popcorn Sutton and kind of put, like a lot of people who are just kind of intrigued by this figure in the mountains. I'm 42, 43, and Johnny Knoxville was sort of a hero of my age group with Jackass and all this stuff that he was doing. But he interviews Popcorn Sutton. Popcorn Sutton, not driven by fame or fortune. So I just feel like these are three qualities that remind me of you, and I'm curious as I make more observations, but untouched by modernization, authentic, you're authentically of the hills here, of the mountains, of Tennessee, even though I know you've been from other places, I know you've lived other places, and you don't seem to be driven by fame or fortune. You look at, what you charge for your races, famously the $1.60 and all of the what you charge for races. And I think maybe just by way of observation to kick this off, do you agree with that?
I think all the stuff that's happened in recent years, the notoriety, it was good that it didn't happen when I was younger and would have thought that, yeah, I'm something special. It's just a combination of circumstances and times, and
yeah,
I do think one of the appeals is the stuff we do is genuine.
Yeah,
it's real. There was, after the documentary came out, I actually heard from a couple of people that are like, when you do reality shows, and I said, well, I would do that, but it would have to actually be real.
Yeah.
So obviously nothing came of that. I just get to keep doing the races that we do.
Yeah, you seem to be authentically about the runner. And I think there are certainly people who are making a lot of money and all this and that in ultra running that are also authentically about the runner. So I'm not saying that's like the defining characteristic.
Right.
But I do think that who you are and what you've done has provided a very necessary counterbalance to the professionalization of ultra running. And I think the professionalization, it has its place. I like those great runners myself. I'm a big fan, but you provide a very necessary counterbalance to all of that.
Yeah, I'm not professional. That's what.
Yeah. But you know what I mean by the professionalization? Like, all the money moving in and all of that. Yeah.
The slick stuff. It's kind of like the arch for the backyard, where we sat there and the standard arch says finish. And we were sitting down there looking at it during the race after too many nights without sleep and said, you know what it should say is there is no finish.
Yeah.
And so got a piece of material and just penciled it on there. So later on that became a thing. And you see lots of arches where the arch itself says there is no finish. So they said, we can make you an arch that has that printed on there. I said, nah, it's not right that way.
Yeah. Well, I think also like Popcorn Sutton, you can't tell the story of Popcorn Sutton without talking about, the hills of Tennessee, the backwoods of Tennessee. You can't talk about it without the tradition that he was sort of carrying on to a degree that, and as you say, probably is still going, but the way that the brand around him was that he was sort of the last of his kind. But one of the things that you do that reminds me of him and that also is that everything you do is rooted in a place. And my friend Jeremy Cox made this observation for me, but if a lot of the races these days in the professionalization of the sport end up just being about running a long distance, and that's the whole thing. You're running 100 miles, which is cool, and it's hard, and it has its place. But what you do always tends to be rooted in a place and rooted in some version of a local tradition, or rooted in such a way that, yes, you're running a long ways, and yes, you have a high likelihood of not finishing, but that's almost just like bedrock, because you've got other layers above the bedrock.
Yeah, it's the HOTS is the fun one because you get to really explore in more depth some segment of the country.
Yeah.
Within a 400-mile circle of
Yeah.
the rock, and pick a different route and find just the stuff that's there that's different and interesting.
Yeah. When you're making decisions, when you're looking at this stuff, I mean, is there I know you're a numbers guy. I know you're, is there a calculus to how you compose, as you're looking at this and you just think, okay, the backyard is the 4.1667 miles, and it's always got a great story to it of why it's that distance, or, and people who are coming, like the stories are all there, but in your mind, is it just, you're on a walk, and it's like, I'm going to do that.
That one, I actually thought of the basic general idea when I was in high school, because I thought a race like that would favor my strengths as a runner. I wish there'd been backyards when I could run.
Yeah.
Although what some of the people have done.
My goodness. Yeah.
But really, when we moved out here, and we wanted to I'd built trails around the farm, and we had a race, just a regular time race, but it's only 150 acres or so there's not really enough space to have your standard ultra, even the timed ones. You need just a large amount of space.
Yeah.
But I was able to. So it was the first year we did it, and it was. It just wasn't, there wasn't anything special about it. And then I thought back and remembered what I thought about in high school, because, hey, we have around 4 miles of trails. I can configure them in a way to make it meet that distance. And then I had, luckily, all the years of putting together races and watching what people could do to kind of figure out the parameters where you make it. It's not a distance you can do forever mentally, but it's a distance you could do forever physically. And except you have a lot of things. You only have, like, all your aid stuff has to happen in a little short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When in a regular run of pretty much any distance, if you need to, you can stop and tend to your feet for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that here. Anything you're going to do, you have to do it either within 10 or 12 minutes or in increments of 10 or 12 minutes, an hour apart.
Yeah. So when you're conceiving that, I mean, do you think, from a marketing standpoint, commercially, are you thinking, okay, I have this idea, is anybody going to run it? Does that matter to you? You know what I mean? Like popcorn.
Yeah, when we did the first one, the thought was, well, I think that's a good idea. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Can we draw enough people to keep having it every year? When we moved out here, we had greenbelt taxes.
Yep.
And technically, this is a forest.
Okay.
It's a tree farm, timber farm. But I didn't want to harvest trees. But to keep your greenbelt taxes, you have to have your forestry plan. And then you also have to have some revenue from your farm to keep it on greenbelt.
Yeah.
And I thought if I could have a race every year, set the entry fee to where it covered my property taxes, then I had an income and I had the farm with no property tax.
Okay.
And so I was concerned whether it would catch on enough for people to do it. But obviously that has...
Well, okay, so I guess, again, I think like Popcorn Sutton, he had his core customers. He had probably, same group of people that were always coming there. There was obviously an inflection point in what you do, and maybe it is the Race That Eats Its Young documentary that was at the inflection point where all of a sudden you were getting 2,000 requests for entries beyond your core customers that were before that?
Strangely enough, the number of serious applications at the Barkley didn't change.
Really?
You had a lot of people that wanted to apply that weren't what I would call serious applicants.
Yeah.
But the Barkley had long since passed a point where the people who do that kind of stuff knew about it.
Yeah.
And it was probably, it wasn't promoted, but access to when and how to enter was not a closely guarded secret, because the only people really mostly wanting to do it were people that had some business out there.
Yeah. That's interesting. So there was like a call that would go out, and like the real ones would hear it, like a dog whistle almost, that the right people had already heard about it.
The word travels within that community.
Of those kind of crazy folk.
And it was, I guess it wasn't, but about the same time that the ultra running really, the latest boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When it's been more like a series of booms with running since I was a kid.
The 70s. So have you heard, I read something similar in Born to Run. Chris McDougall kind of lays out the running always booms when there's some sort of crisis. So the financial crisis of the 70s, there was a boom and people moved toward marathons. He outlined some others, but you get to 9/11. 9/11 was a big boom in running. You get to the financial crisis of 08 to 012, there was a big boom. COVID, there was a huge boom. So there's always these moments that reorient people around not being so consumed by their day jobs, and wanting to do something hard, and those crises seems to pull people into running.
Well, I know. I started running ultras in the late 70s. And the big discussion then, all of the ultras in the U.S., were compiled every year by Nick Marshall into the Ultra Distance Summary. And it would be 2 or 3 or 4 mimeograph pages that had the stories and results of all the races that happened in the U.S. in a whole year. And the big concern of the people that participated was, what happens when it grows to the point that everybody doesn't know everybody else? And it's like, I don't mean within Tennessee or Middle Tennessee. I mean in the whole U.S.
Yeah.
There were people you hadn't met, but you knew their name because you knew other people that knew.
Yeah. And I think maybe to in the sentence here on Popcorn Sutton is that there's something, because you come from that era and that mindset, or let's say you emerged during that era, is that's why I think that you're an important counterbalance to the professionalization. Because even though, yes, it's a big community, and yes, the big names will come and run your races or apply or whatever, they're still coming into your world. You're not changing your world so it works for that professionalization.
Yeah.
And so I think you are this really critical counterbalance to keeping some element of that the dirtbags really love.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. It does seem strange when you look and see the caliber of athletes that come and run stuff here.
And get beat up by it. I mean, the best athletes in the world have been just destroyed.
when the backyard took off, my initial thinking was, because I look and see, here's these people starting backyards and they have slick websites and everything is really,
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is.
Polished.
Yeah, and highly produced, and we're still home. It's homemade.
Your popcorn Sutton, they're Jack Daniels.
But somehow I figured, well, now I change what I hope for.
Yeah.
That the Biggs backyard would survive, not because people would or would not run backyards, but because it was outstripped by much more professional
Right.
versions. But it's turned out completely the opposite. Although you do have, when the whole world comes for the championships, a lot of them are kind of shocked that this is a real backyard basically put on by me and Sandra and a couple of friends.
Yeah, it's not just, it's a true story. It's not just a marketing story. It really is just you putting on this thing in your backyard.
It really is.
Tell me about that.
Oh, that's my dad's next door neighbor.
Yeah. What's funny is that I walk in and I see this shirt over here that says Andy Payne on it.
Yeah, I just got that in 2018, I walked across the whole country.
Yeah.
Because at 65, I could do 30 miles a day all the way across.
Gosh.
But then I thought I would do it again at 70. And I backed off what I thought I could do.
Yeah.
But not enough, because you don't age like this. You age like this. And between 65 and 70 was one of those.
One of those moments.
And I couldn't go fast enough. So I ended up, it's a long process. So I had weeks and weeks, actually probably a month and a half or 2 months of trying to figure out some way that I could stay on track or alter my route to shorten it, cut off enough distance some way I could make it, but I wasn't going to make it and I wasn't going to have time.
Yeah.
So I ended up stopping at the Andy Payne statue in Foyle, Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
And this guy came out and had run with me, and well, the Paynes are still there.
Really? Wow.
The Payne family in the Payne funeral home.
Oh, wow.
And so he talked to members of the Payne family, and they came out and met me there at the Andy Payne Memorial when I finished that part.
Wow.
I was going to finish. And so that was really the next farm next door to my dad's.
Wow.
So we talked about the old farm place and my grandfather and his farm and all that stuff. And the Payne family business now is the Payne Funeral Home. So for my last set of pictures to post, and on my last day of the run, when I finished at the Andy Payne Memorial, I went over and had them take a picture of me next to the hearse, and I just captioned it, "My ride is here."
Here's what I know about Andy Payne. 1928, he was with 275 other runners starting in L.A., racing in the Bunyan Derby.
Yeah.
And he was the winner among 275
Saved
runners.
the farm.
To what?
He saved the farm.
Now that I don't know. Tell me about that.
Him and his brother. I've heard stories about him and the Paynes in the race all my life. Some of them that I haven't ever seen published, so I avoid repeating any of those.
Yeah.
But him and his brother went out and they drove out there to win the race so that they could save the family farm with the prize money. And what I was told was that he would run one day and his brother would drive, and then his brother would run the next day and he would drive to see which one was faster. And they picked him as the stronger of the two.
Wow.
And so then he ran the race, and And even though he had some hard times in the middle, he won it. It went on Route 66, so it went right
Through Oklahoma.
just a few miles from where he lived.
Okay.
I actually, even though things have changed a lot, and they built a lake which messed up the road system, so I had a hard time trying to figure out. Knew I was going to go close to where my grandfather's farm was, and I was going to drive over there and see it. But when I ran through there, I realized I was on one of the routes that we used to take, so I could figure out where my grandfather's farm was. But when I talked to the Paynes the year before, when I stopped at the memorial, it was just short of the farm.
Yeah.
And my grandfather's house is gone, and all the, it's not the place that I grew up knowing.
Okay.
So I decided there was really there was no point in going there, but it was kind of fun to recognize the road that I was on, even though, it's paved now and all that. But we called it the funny hills. That particular route to go to my grandfather's farm had a lot of
Yeah.
I don't know if you did this when you were a kid and you go over those hills and you float you're momentarily weightless, your stomach's in your mouth and your head's on the...
Yeah, I would never thought to call it the funny hills, but my grandparents lived in a town called Aledo, just outside of Fort Worth, Texas. And my dad would go through our version of the funny hills. It was that exact spot, which I guess isn't terribly far from where you are, maybe similar terrain. But you hit the top, yes, and everything goes up. You even feel like you lift out of your seat and then back down.
And all the time your mother's saying, Frank,
stop.
Frank,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah, my dad always became a race car driver on those roads. Yeah.
No, because there were 3 kids in the car.
Yeah. Yep.
And only one adult who, I guess we'll never know now what she really thought about it. But she was obligated by adulthood to say, don't do
slow
that.
down. Yeah. Did you, 1928, unless you're a fan of Davy Crockett, the ultra running historian in Utah, I don't know how one might know about Andy Payne. He kind of is a keeper of a lot of stories, Davy. And, so 1928, I think a lot of people would be surprised of how much ultra running was happening 100 years ago, 150 years, the old 6-day races.
They had the old hands in that race. He was unknown, one of the many people who just came out of the woodwork to try and win this prize. But he was pretty fixed on it.
Did Andy in any way, you're hearing these stories as a kid, did that play into, running across America, 1928, it feels crazy in 2026.
Yeah.
Did that, was that something that played into your love of running and sort of odd courses and odd challenges?
Nah, it was more of a coincidental thing because I always started out wanting to be a football player.
Okay.
And through an endless series of failures to do what I wanted to do, I ended up doing what I could. and the love of journey running from place to place, I think the idea of running across the country would have, because of the same kind of mindset that put together that ball, that I would have done it anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was something all my life you knew could be done.
That's right. That's what's unique about it. Because I think maybe as a kid I could think, I want to run across America. No one could ever do that. You actually had had someone that could embody that. Oh, it's possible.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very, especially at that era, not many people could say, I knew somebody or my dad knew somebody.
When I did it at 65, that was the pinnacle athletic achievement of my life. 30 miles a day for 126 days is really hard on your body. I lost 40 pounds because I simply couldn't eat enough to replace the calories I was burning.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in the summer, it's hot so much.
Yeah.
Food you go through a lot of places out west where there's not much to eat, and you're so tired, and you're either running or sleeping all the time. So there's not a chance to eat.
Yeah.
And I thought, when I was younger, I could have done it so much faster.
Yeah.
And then I think, but I don't know if I could have finished it. I don't know if mentally I had what it would take.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just because I've gotten to be around so many great athletes and see how they're put together and how they perform. I realize you're limited in the quality of your performance in terms of how fast you can be or how far you can go. But the real quality, the bringing a credible effort, doing a good job, is not restricted by how fast you are. And I look at, I know a number of people I think of right away, and that you tell them, yeah, when you sign up for a race, I know you're going to bring I want to say professionalism, but of course no one's making it.
Right.
None of the people I know make it, or these kind of people, they're not making any money off of it, but they have a pride in
a level of
how
seriousness.
they handle themselves and how they put it out there, and they're not, they're not. There's the next week people. Every week they go to a race, and when it starts to get really, really hard, they say, I got a really important race next week, and I wouldn't want to hurt myself and detract from that performance. So they perpetually trade today for tomorrow. And it's like, and next week when it starts to get hard, you'll save it for the week after that. And you're cheating yourself.
Did you feel that way when you were younger? You're saying like at 65, you felt like you were no longer trading. Was that something that comes with age?
No, it wasn't the trading it off. It was more having an awareness of what you could do, and then changing your mindset where that you no longer have, there's just not during these things the point where I'm at war with myself that, I'm wanting to quit. I'm just thinking of how to finish.
Yeah.
When I tore the labrum in my hip with like 500 miles to go in 2018, I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew that it was a serious injury.
Yeah.
But my only fear wasn't my leg would fail. There wasn't any, it's going to hurt too bad, or, I've got to, it's an awkward spot.
Yeah.
500 miles to go, so you've already gone well over 3,000. There's not really any part of you thinking, I need to quit, but 500 miles is still really far.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about like, all the great runners who come through here. Again, I'm blanking on his name, Harvey Lewis. I mean, older gentleman. No offense to him, but that I'm almost 43. I still feel like I've got so many lessons to learn before I can really do the running that I want to learn, and I still feel like my best years are ahead of me. I think one of the great gifts of this sport, or whatever this is, if it's a sport or I don't know what it is, the great gift is that as I age, I still feel like I've got good years ahead of me. I know it doesn't last that way forever, but right now, 43, I still feel like I've got the years ahead of me.
There's, 71, going on 72, and there's I guess I do, of course, want to die with lots of stuff still on my bucket list, but there's so many things I'd like to do just in running.
Still?
Not to mention the rest of life, that there's so much.
What are some of the things that you still want to do?
Well, you all are two of you are Utah people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, I bet you're not from East Central Utah.
That's
You
right.
know what's in East Central Utah, right?
I mean, some cities, but I don't know.
No,
I don't know
Green
what
River.
Green
That's
Green
it.
River. Yeah, I had a friend who was
BLM roads in Green River.
I love Green River. Right, Green River's right on the interstate. I had a friend who was the curator of the museum there for a number of years.
Is he still there?
No, he moved. He got a little bit too. The small town got a little too much for him after like 5 years.
Yeah, there can't be 50 people there.
No, there's a good place to buy real estate, commercial real estate.
So when I did the segment last summer, because I want to finish the Transcon, I couldn't do it all in 1 year.
I see.
But so last summer I went from Foyle to the Colorado-Utah border.
Okay.
West of on the old US 50.
Okay.
Old US 50 on I went like 2 steps across the border. And there's pieces of that left that haven't been maintained since the interstate replaced it. And then there's BLM roads, there's Green River.
Yep.
There is nothing else until you're almost at Salida or Salina.
Salida. Yeah.
Salida.
Yeah.
I know there's Salina in Colorado and Salida in
Yep.
Utah, and they.
And you're right at the top of the the Escalante staircase, which I think it's more beautiful if you go down. Like if you go past Green River, you could go south into Moab, where it just starts. I think just some of the most stunning, most beautiful.
Yeah, I'm. Looks like I've got about 1,000-mile route, and probably about 30 miles of it'll have to be on the interstate because there is.
Oh.
It's. I laid out routes using the BLM roads and another piece of a different highway that came down, but there's hundreds of extra miles, and a lot of it is questionable whether you would really call it a road or not. It's a route that would have to be explored in advance to see if it was possible in a vehicle. And then the whole arrangement at 71, it's like, nah, I need to just do the 30-mile stretch of interstate, get it the hell done.
Yeah. How many hours is that taking you, do you think, a day to get the 30 miles at 71?
Now, the question is whether to do it in 2 days or a day and a half over the course of 2 days.
Got it.
Or to just get out there and knock it all out in one 15-hour stretch and sacrifice some time on the other side. Those are the kind of decisions you have to make when you got boots on the ground. It's how I'll feel, because I must say it's at least 80 miles, between 80 and 100 miles to get to that stretch.
Yeah.
Because I'm still a long ways across remote nothingness.
Yes, that's right.
To get there.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if I feel like I'm up to a 15-hour day.
Yeah.
The first time I did 14 hours a day, 14, just every day.
My goodness.
And this time I'm doing 10 because I wanted to do it again and have fun. And I wanted to do it once to see if I could do it with everything I had. That's great. Don't want to do that again. And this time I wanted to enjoy it more, and I'm taking 2 hours at the end of every day to write up the geography, the geology, the people you see, the different interesting things, the physical sensation of crossing, treating the crossing as a series of geographical, not really obstacles, but just the different parts of the physical country that you're going across.
And is that writing just for your own personal?
No, I'm posted every day.
Okay.
So people follow me as I'm going.
Got it.
But we've put together a map. And I think It weighs a ton.
Do you need some help?
No,
Okay.
a ton is an exaggeration. It's easily.
Whoa.
So we set up a virtual thing, a virtual transcon
That's about
for
a ton.
people that don't have the time to do it themselves.
I'm going to hold it up here so I can see. It's heavy.
And you see the row of pictures along the bottom of the different parts of the country you go through. And you describe from the eastern seaboard, the Appalachians, which are actually dozens of different mountain chains from over time. Excuse me, the central lowlands, of course, you cross the Mississippi. Then you have the low plains and the high plains, the Great Plains in general. I finished up this summer. I started in Foyle at the edge of the Great Plains and went across. I'd come through the Ozark Mountains to hit Foyle.
Got it.
And then did those, and then did 400 miles of the high plains, which is just...
I mean, that's roughly where I'm from. You went up a little bit higher, but you were still in Comancheria, I believe, which is like where the Comanche...
Followed a lot of the old... what's the trail that drops down into New Mexico?
The Goodnight Loving Trail or the cattle?
No, I crossed the Chisholm Trail.
The Chisholm, okay.
In this little town in Kansas.
Yep, that makes sense.
Say pictures. Where do I go? Every place is beautiful in its own way.
Yeah.
And the high plains is one of the most inspiring
Yes.
parts of the country, but I don't think you can appreciate it without crossing it on foot.
Well, okay, so the high plains, I believe, I mean, is that what you would also consider West Texas up the Caprock Escarpment onto the Llano Estacado?
I'd show it to you on my computer later.
Okay.
That picture.
Yep, that's where I'm from. That's very much what it looks like where I'm from.
Oh, man.
It's unbelievably flat.
But it has features. That's the thing. You know, I always wondered, you look at it and you think, how in the hell did people cross that?
The Staked Plains. Do you know the story of the Staked Plains?
But when you cross it on foot, you can see it has features. I mean, from that picture, you don't really, it's kind of hard to believe. But yeah, it has features. It has a configuration. And you realize, yeah, I could cross this without a road, without a map, without a compass, because it has a form to it.
You're right. I mean, so by definition, the Llano Estacado is defined as a featureless tabletop. So it's technically like a massive mesa, but it's just like 32,000 square miles. So
where's this?
This is
part of the same.
Yes,
further south than this.
Yeah, I was further south, but this goes up past like Pauldro Canyon,
the
north of
Santa
Texas.
Fe Trail.
Yeah. So it's all in. So and this is where all of the Comanche Indians were, and this was so they moved across these flat plains, and it was called the Staked Plains because when the Spanish conquistadors were working their way up, they would get lost all the time because they didn't have there's no tree or there's no hill, so they would have to put stakes in the ground like breadcrumbs.
And when they found one again, they knew they were making a circle.
They knew they were that's how they knew they were in a circle. Or if they needed to get back, the only way you could get back was to follow your stakes back.
Well, going east to west across the Great Plains, if you went north-south, it would be much harder. But going east to west, there's a consistent structure to it as it moves towards the mountains.
Yes, and I read something like going east to west, you're gaining 10 feet of elevation every so many miles. Like so it's very gradual. You are technically going up, but it's very very gradual.
And watching for the mountains.
Yeah.
Because after you've been out there for about a week, well, you know the mountains are coming any day.
Yeah.
Any day you're going to catch your first glimpse of a mountain peak in the distance.
That is crazy to think about.
So every time you get to, and again, you look at that picture, you can't fathom it, but yeah, when you get to a high spot, because there are what are recognizable as high spots, that you would study the horizon looking for that.
Yeah.
And I got a big fossil out there on the back porch that we were going along and saw this collection of fossils in a big rock on the side of the road. And it was only 100 yards after that or so that we first saw Pikes Peak.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Didn't know it was Pikes Peak then. And actually, something I didn't realize it until this experience, you have time-lapse vision. So you're studying and studying the horizon. And of course, there's a whole long thing about how vision actually works that people don't really grasp.
Yeah.
You're not just seeing what's there. You're collecting photons. But in conjunction with that, your brain makes the picture you see. And so we would study it and study it and study it. And then eventually we would catch enough photons that the brain would put in this dim shape of Pikes Peak. If you looked away and looked back, it's gone. Because you have to have that time-lapse collection of
Interesting.
data until you can finally barely
Put
make
it together. Yeah.
Well, and I've kind of done this in a car. Everybody probably has. Is that a mountain or is it a cloud?
Yeah.
And then in 30 minutes, it's mountains. No, for us, it's a whole day. Then a whole day later, when you've been seeing this thing over and over again, when it's just the right moment, you say, yeah, that's definitely a mountain. Now try to figure out which one it was. And we weren't really sure, but it turned out to be Pikes Peak. So at the end of the day that we first saw Pikes Peak, we were coming around like this. And we went ahead to stay in this little town where Pike himself had come through. And there's a historical marker right back there, the first place that Pike saw Pikes Peak.
Oh, wow.
So we got the same experience as him, except we knew it would be there.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, for him, the photons gathering, if he was walking in that direction, would his brain have been able to make sense that was going to be a mountain? You were kind of expecting it, so I wonder.
Thing. You know eventually.
Yes.
That they're there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just scanning the horizon every day, thinking maybe from up here.
So is this why you walk across the United States, or is this how you entertain yourself while you're doing it?
I guess it's both.
Really?
It's fascinating to see all of it.
Yeah.
So I walked a few steps into Utah, and I think that was my 32nd state that I've connected them all with a continuous string of footprints.
Wow.
So when I get across Utah and Nevada and get into California, that'll make 34. Well, there's 48 states, 49 counting the District of Columbia. So I've been back looking at the maps, and to pick up all the ones I missed it's like another probably at least 7,000 miles of walking. But mostly not as long at a time as I've done on these.
Yeah.
And the biggest stretch left, I guess, would be from either Chicago or Milwaukee or somewhere in Minnesota to the peninsula in Washington State.
Yeah.
And that one would require a zigzag because the idiots who made the Dakotas did not put them where that they align for an easy way to cross and hit both of them. So I would have to go in and then drop down into either go into South Dakota and climb to North Dakota and come back down.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe enter in South and climb to North Dakota and finish across. And then you got to cross all of Montana. But that one has called to me since I was a kid.
Really?
When you go across Montana, you think, and you look at the map and you see how it is, and you think, that would be so cool to go all the way across.
Okay, so I think, just to wind down this portion of the conversation, more than ever, I feel like you are a cross between Popcorn Sutton and Andy Payne.
Andy Payne, well, he was, it turned out he was actually a pretty good runner.
Yeah.
He ran they've got it on the sign, and I want to say it was like either in the 420s or less than 420 for a mile back then, which put him not far from world-class runners in the 1930s.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
so he was a credible athlete.
So I think you got the incredible athlete with the person that has with Popcorn being untouched by modernization. I feel like the conclusion here is that the way that you approach this, what you're doing, you're going across the United States, the way that you think, the races and all that sort of stuff. Just my observation is that you're still just doing it the way that you would do it. It's very punk rock, in my opinion, or maybe it's very outlaw country. It's very Willie Nelson. Like you're doing your own thing and you're doing it your way, but you're also quite the athlete to even endeavor going across the country. So you're Andy Payne meets Popcorn Sutton.
Yeah, my only strength as an athlete is durability. I take a lot of punishment.
Well, it takes us into old age a little bit better.
Anyway, I don't know if I finished that. So what you do, people go along and they do their daily training miles, whatever it is.
Okay.
And whenever they hit what I've done in a day, which right now is in the 20 to 25 mile a day range.
Uh-huh.
And when they cross over one of those days, they get an email with all the pictures I wasted time taking during the day and then the stories of what happened. And that's why it takes a couple of hours to really thoroughly rehash the 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then you also research as you go along. You read the history in advance so you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You read the geology after the fact because you have to go through it to know what your questions are. Make sense?
Yeah.
And so but now what I'm heading into from where I'm at on the Colorado-Utah border.
Okay.
There is no history. If you look at all, I've followed various old routes all the way across the country. I mean, from the George Washington Highway that was the first way through West Virginia into the southern part of Ohio, to the Santa Fe Trail for days and days and days until it cuts south. But all the old routes, when they get between, there's Pueblo. What's the next city back? The next city back is where...
In Colorado?
Is where the Santa Fe Trail cuts south.
Okay.
And then...
I know the area, but I don't know the name of it.
I can't remember the name of that town.
Durango?
No, that's...
East or west?
That's way further west.
Yeah, okay.
It's in the south part of the mountains. This is before you get to the mountains. And then you have the routes through the mountains. And then after that, the pioneer trails all either went south or north. Mm-hmm. They avoided going through this next section of the country that I'm going to go through. That
I see.
East central Utah it's Colorado Plateau.
Yeah.
I guess the Grand Canyon is in the southern part of it.
Yep.
The Painted Forest is in there somewhere. I don't think I'm going to see those.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot of geology there.
Yes.
But not any history because
So my favorite piece of history, 1846, was just north. That's the Donner Party. So, but you have to go up through Salt Lake. 'Cause they took the shortcut through Salt Lake and ended up in Tahoe. But you're right. I don't know of anything myself, which isn't saying a lot. I don't know of anything through that central part.
Yeah, I've seen some signs from where the Donner Party passed.
I love the Donner Party stories.
Yeah, they were. When you read about it, the whole thing is just hard to believe. They were losers. I mean,
Absolutely.
they started too late. They didn't know what they were doing. It was just them. It became a party as other losers trickled back out of the other wagon trains
That's
without
right.
the brains to say, all right, let's bag it and turn around.
Or let's wait a year.
Because we're going to fucking die out here.
Well, one of my favorite stories.
Then they got in with some guy who gave them, took them on a shortcut, which was not a shortcut.
Through Salt Lake City. That's why they all froze and died, is because they went through Salt Lake City. And there was a stretch from the Great Salt Lake that they were told was going to be 40 miles. This is why I always wanted to have a race called the Donner Party 40 miler, because it was 80 miles and they all ran out of water, but they were told it was 40. So it was the 40-mile race that was actually going to end up being 80 because people didn't have enough water. Obviously, they weren't prepared for it. There was no food, and you're passing by the Great Salt Lake.
Yeah, they never got
can't
better.
consume it. Yeah,
as you read the signs as you cross the country, it's like, yeah, after this, you should have turned around.
Yeah.
After this, you should have turned around.
Yes, they just kept going, and then right there at Tahoe, where they just all started eating each other.
So they got up into the mountains and got trapped.
Yeah.
And they were, the weird thing to think about is the healthier, the more competent among them could hike out to the cities on the coast and tell them they're back there.
Yeah.
And they could go back and did. But of course, they can't carry enough food to make any material difference.
Yeah.
I would just said, to hell with them.
Yeah.
I'm in San Francisco.
Right.
Good luck to them. But they tried to make rescue parties to go get them.
Yeah.
They tried to send supplies into them.
Yeah.
They knew they were there. And the whole thing is such a clusterfuck.
It is. It's unbelievable.
But the biggest thing was looking at each stage when you trace them from damn St. Louis west.
Yeah.
And you think, why in the hell did they keep going when everyone's telling them you're gonna die?
You know what's funny is that the parallels to like Big's backyard is that the thing that we celebrate with Big's that they keep going is the thing that killed the Donner Party.
Yeah.
Do you want to go? Speaking of dying while walking, do you want to go for a walk now?
Sure.
All right. He's not that great. He's not great at walking forward.
I want to walk around you.
Yeah, just to kind of bounce her all over. And
This is the wide part of the trail here.
okay. So we're good, Ben. So maybe even just here for walking, let's talk about the races. I mean, everyone that's going to watch this probably already knows about Barkley and Big's backyard. I think one of the things that's less well known is the what do you call it, the last annual Vol State 500K.
Oh yeah, that one seems to be pretty well known.
Do you want me to do that too?
I just normally walk the woods, walk the trails enough. Eventually I want to connect this one. Well, it used to be connect over to the house and then down to this part along there. I just need more time.
Where does Big's happen?
We're on it.
This is it. Crazy.
I don't know how visible the trail is to you, but it's a pretty visible trail.
So where's the start and not finish line? Where does that happen? At your house?
Those two stone pillars in the front yard.
Okay.
One One that was crudely put together in a hurry that I'll take apart and do, and one that I'd started to put together a little better this year.
Yeah.
I cut back on the mileage I did last year. I wanted to get 3,000 miles in. So it really, the time spent walking cut into the time that I had available for working on the farm stuff.
Yeah.
And then also spending April, May, and August walking across doing other sections of my Transcon.
Ah, yeah. Are these your course markings?
Yeah, originally it was all marked with pink flags.
Yeah.
But they're not really necessary anymore. Oh, we went past without comment where we went across that rock shelf. Just below that, I'm bringing a trail around, and it'll have a cutoff in the middle that comes down from the house to a gap, and then drops down to the bottom and comes in and hits this on the end. It goes along the front of the farm, and then circles around to come out down here.
Hold that boy. We're not going to be talking about this.
Hopefully, eventually replace the out and back with an out and then back through the woods. Have to see if we can see how that works.
What was the first year of Biggs?
2011.
Okay. Was that the first time you did a backyard period? Was that when that was conceived?
Yeah. When you walk this daily, you can flip all the sticks off and keep them off the trail.
It's how you do your trail maintenance.
Otherwise, they constantly...
Do you want some help?
Nah, it's okay.
Keeps you young.
Well, I didn't give you a stick. It's a lot of bending over.
Well, I can get one. That could actually work as my stick
see,
to help
it'll
your move.
come in, the trail in the front will come in from here. The one where we go down the road and cut off the road will come back up and meet this quarter, so this will be a four-way intersection. And we'll just split it. They'll run down the road, come back up through the woods, and then circle around and cross the driveway in front of the house instead of going back up the road and in the farm and then crossing. It'll save them from going back through camp.
Okay, so it remains 4.1667 miles, is that?
But I have to get it back to 4.1667 miles.
Or is it like the idea of a foot just being however big the king's foot is a backyard, just whatever your backyard is?
Well, no, it was 4 miles was the basic idea to start with.
Yeah.
These are dead ash trees. The ash borer arrived about 3 or 4 years ago and killed hundreds and hundreds of beautiful trees. See that one there?
Oh, yeah.
And I knew it was coming.
Yep.
And I thought I was prepared for it, but it was still
Heartbreaking.
It's painful to watch all those big, beautiful trees die.
Yeah.
They were a lot bigger than this when they were full of water.
Do you use them for firewood or anything?
I don't lug them out from back here.
Yeah. That could be what you make the runners do for you one year.
Yeah. These are pretty big logs.
Yeah.
They're still pretty heavy. See, the trail's real easy to see here.
Yeah. Man, this is beautiful. How long have you owned this property?
Since 2007.
Okay. It's just about perfect.
I spent about 3 years cleaning it up and building trails before we built the house.
Were you still an accountant at that time?
Yes. Did you know that birds will find those cigarette butts and incorporate them in their nests?
I did not know that.
Yeah, the nicotine is an insecticide.
Oh,
They fledge more, it kills the mites and parasites in their nest. I don't know if they're aware of that, but birds do put those in their nest. You can actually look it up.
do the runners ever give you any feedback on the course? Is the prevailing feedback that it just is what it is? Do they like it? Do they hate it?
Yeah. I think the trail runners like it. It's not hard enough to just destroy you, but it's harder than running on the road.
Yeah.
So you get faster laps at night when we go to the road. You simply can't do this in the dark fast enough, and that becomes the... Then that's the Bentrance.
That's what?
The Bentrance. Ben's house is right over there. That's my nearby neighbor.
Yep.
Closer to walk to his house through the woods. He comes over and runs on the trails and helps with them some.
Nice.
You need people to run on, to use the trails to keep them in place. You need somebody to walk them to keep all the sticks off of them.
So does Little's backyard go through here too?
Little's is the same course.
Okay. Is it kind of like, so the idea, it seems like maybe you did it for Barkley and backyard, like you have one kind of for the, I don't know if experts is the right word, but then you have one that's more democratized for...
We have the BFC, which we can get large numbers of people into.
Okay. Yeah, the Fall Classic. And do you do that at near Brushy Mountain?
Yeah, it's
Same place?
It's in the same park.
Okay.
Uses a lot of
Frozen Head.
some of the same trails. Has some Barkley Hills in it so people can get a taste. But it also has aid stations and course markings, and
Got it.
it's not overly marked, but it is marked.
I mean, I've obviously not run it, but I'm familiar with the concept of scraping. And now I know I think as a quote from you, you tell the veterans to scrape those virgin motherfuckers off.
Leave them on their own.
Now in the Fall Classic, are you equally as, is that a similar principle you encourage?
There's so many people you
can't fully scrape them.
Anyone that's struggling with finding their way. But they do have a map, and it's not overly marked.
Yeah.
And you should carry your map and have an awareness of where you're going. You have people that don't finish because they just simply don't bother to bring or look at their map.
Yeah. All right.
That over there is our septic
Okay.
field.
Yeah.
When we got the property, everyone said, there's not going to be anywhere there that perks. And I said, get me a topo map. And you sit down and you figure out that if there's one place on this property where the soil will have filled in and set, that would be it. And sure enough, it was.
Yeah, perfect. Did you build the house?
No, the builders built it.
Well, are you the first to live in it?
But yeah, Sandra designed her house.
Ah.
Told her I didn't care what our house was like. I just was concerned with the yard.
Yep.
Let them go, right?
So back when you did
Watch out here.
the big one. So the Idiot's Run is probably the best named race in the history of American ultra running.
Yeah.
What so back when it was, I think year one it was like 70 miles, but year two you went over 100.
118.6.
And at the time, that you just had the Old Dominion and Western States, and Wasatch was kind of happening, but not formally. So to do 100 miles in 1981 was, you were one of the only ones. Back to your point from our other conversation that everybody probably knew each other who was doing all those. How many people were doing Idiot's Run?
Oh, 12 or 15.
Okay.
I don't remember what the most we had was. It's kind of like the Vol State. There was an interesting phenomenon. We did the Vol State starting in 1980. Different distances, different courses before it was 2000 before we settled on basically the course we have now.
Okay.
And from 1980 to maybe 2006, 2007, somewhere in there, the most we'd ever had in one year was 16.
Oh,
and
really?
Then that year we had 18 and we were so excited. The next year it went to 35 and I had to change it from just a no-fee thing where we all got together and did it.
Yeah.
To make it feasible to do it. If I was going to have 35 runners, it had to go to having an entry fee and getting buses. We used to just get together and park cars at the end and drive together in a caravan to the start. But we had to get buses and we no longer could just count on finding enough motel rooms to stay the night before the start.
Yeah.
Had to reserve them. So it had to have a fee. That's I believe that's one of my ash trees. There's lots of them. We came around with a guy, C.J. LaRoche, came down and helped us cut down all the ash trees. Because as it is, you regularly have to come out here and cut fallen trees off the trail. So they came and we cut down all the ones that were going to fall across the trail over the next several years.
So when the Idiot's Run, you killed that one when they started paving your trails and paving your dirt roads?
Yeah, they were paving all the roads. It wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Gravel roads. I used to really love to run the gravel roads. And most of the country roads were gravel. Now there's almost no gravel roads left. You do have to watch your feet through here.
Yeah. All right, tell me, the one that I'm most intrigued by is I don't have my notes in front of me, the race for the ages. What do you call that?
ARFTA, a race for the ages.
Yeah.
Although some people say it's a race for the aged. We usually have around 40 runners in it that are over 70 years old.
Okay. That's amazing. How do you do the handicap? Like how do you
You get the number of hours that you are old.
Oh.
When I thought of that idea and then I dug out all the age, I thought, that might work out pretty even. And so I got those age-graded performance charts and kind of did some calculating and thought, yeah, that's pretty damn even. So the race ends at noon on Labor Day.
Okay. I see.
And then it has, last year the oldest guy was 93.
Really?
So the first start was 93 hours before Labor Day. And then every hour you bring in the next batch.
Okay.
A lot of us old guys, I'm going to try this year. The plan is, all goes well with the year, I'm going to shoot for getting one more 100-miler in.
Okay.
I'll have 72 hours. I think I can do it. I had thought I would come off the Transcon and I would be in such good shape that I could do it that year. Or even this year when I only did like 415 miles. But I didn't even get home until a few hours before I was supposed to start. And I really wasn't.
So is the race for the ages, is it virtual or is it in person?
It's in person.
Okay.
The Dead Man Mile. We have a 1 mile loop at Dead Man.
Okay.
It's the Deadman. It's a family name in Manchester.
Okay.
They even have the Deadman Funeral Home.
That's too good.
Yeah, see, this is the top of a tree that fell out.
Got it.
Another one of the dead. Oh, over there.
So the Deadman.
So we have the Dead Man Mile.
Pretty damn
It's
good.
a 1 mile loop. We have timers. Some of the guys just come to get together with the old gang and they do a few hours a day and sit around. We have several little campsites, the little tents down along the river, and then there's some back under shade trees and some around the start finish area. There's 3 or 4 little encampments that they can set up in.
And
a lot of guys try to get one more 100. The winner has ranged in age from 49 to 75.
so how do you calculate a winner? Is it the percentage of total time?
No, it's how many miles you get.
I see. So it's a timed race, total number of hours.
It stops at 40 hours. At 40 hours, all the remaining runners start.
Got it.
Everybody 40 and under gets 40 hours.
Okay, got it.
And now that wasn't an ash tree. That was just a hickory tree that came down across the trail.
Oh.
Up.
So was the race for the ages, was that a concept with yourself in mind?
Yeah. Well, myself and all the other old guys, we can't make time limits anymore.
Yeah.
But we still like to play. If for the younger guys, if they want to come and hear stories, it's a good place to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do it because it's a chance to get 100 miles that maybe they can't do 100 miles anywhere else.
By the way, do these extra miles today, do they work to your advantage, or are these just extra miles for?
Yeah, it'll be an extra mile in my logbook.
Good.
Because we're doing a mile loop, and then if y'all want to go further, we can go further.
Oh, this is great. I mean, this is about as good a weather as anyone could hope for.
Yeah, if I get the chance to walk in this, normally I would just have too much work to do.
Yeah.
The backyards have become the beast that consumes all my time.
Yeah.
Need to turn it into something viable.
Is that a financially viable or operationally viable or both?
Yeah, because it requires so much time.
Yeah.
It really needs to be able to pay some people to run it.
How do you tackle that and still preserve what makes it what it is.
Well, the backyards themselves are just, there's things that inherently, it's a very social event because everybody's together every hour.
Yeah.
See, when we found these bridges out in the woods, we knew the trail had to go that way. I think these were built by the Indians.
It's a sign.
Possibly they're just naturally occurring.
Yeah, I think so. Did you ever see The Gods Must Be Crazy?
Yeah, I actually did.
The second one was better than the first one, but anyway, it makes me think of it.
I just saw the one with the soda bottle.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's really all you need to see is that scene.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened there.
A lot of these great heritage races in the United States, I start to worry about what happens when the founders are no longer in charge.
Yeah. Well, Carl has been taking over the Barkley
Okay.
and the Vol State and the Hots. A little at a time.
Yeah.
His parents had, raised him with lots of bad habits. You have to get rid of unproductive traits like empathy and...
Right. My generation brought too much empathy to the sport.
Well, this one's going to take a chainsaw.
Oh, wow. Is this new?
Yeah. It's one of the old ash trees that we didn't catch when we were going around. It was hard to find them all.
You ever get any of those big ice storms out here that take the trees down?
Oh, yeah. We are in the ice storm belt.
Yep. Well, I know in Tulsa where you lived, I know that those are near Tulsa, I guess. Some amazing ice storms happening out there in the last 10 years.
So, yeah, I'll be out here. Ooh, me or Ben one. We'll have to come out and cut that off the trail.
Yeah. It's a big one.
Stop behind this tree and pee.
All right, you do you. We'll wait for you up here. I'm interviewing my dad right now. It reminds me so much of my dad.
Did you get the PT?
No, I'm not gonna pee with Lance. Trail work on the Big's backyard here. Pretty amazing.
It's a nice backyard.
I'd say. How many acres do you have here?
It's about 150.
Okay. So I know your septic was over there. Is it all covered in trees, or do you have some
Well,
openings?
see, that's pasture right there.
Okay.
There's maybe 20 acres of pasture total.
Okay. Did you ever run any cattle on them or anything?
I have not. Allison still lives right around that corner there.
Okay.
She's the lady that originally owned the farm,
Okay.
and we bought it from her piece by piece, and then when we bought the last piece where that she lived, just so that she couldn't die and someone turned it into a subdivision,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the problem.
then we bought it. It's written in that she's just lived there as long as she wants, and I don't go on the part where she is.
Yeah.
If she decided to leave, then Mr. Stevens, who's over there, we would fence off the pasture and put cattle on the rest of it.
Okay. Oh yeah, because I guess if you're not fenced off, you can't run cattle on it. But I mean, that's the exact thing when bringing it back to ultras. you know, my grandparents had 40 acres in Aledo, Texas, and when they died, it's now a subdivision with like 30 homes on it, each getting their own acre. You know, it's good for them, but that's my same worry about all these great heritage ultras that people are taking over or they're buying. Like, it's most people who are doing it are for the professionalization of the sport. I don't know, unless it's like a nonprofit, but even still, Western States being a nonprofit, I would say that they embody what I personally don't want to, not dying to see happen.
Well, the Barkley has survived on contributions all this time because it's not cheap to put it on the way it is now. The old days runners, where that all you really wanted was camp and run, but now there's all the various bells and whistles.
What do you think's the most surprising line item on your budget?
Oh, I don't know. How does it cost so much? Of course, you got to deal with the park, but our license fee is not that much. The BFC is a lot more significant.
Yeah.
And you got to buy and transport the water. Putting out the books set out is a lot of money.
Toilets are always the most surprising for me.
Well, up until this year, we've had toilets at the park.
Oh, okay.
This year, the campground, well, after they built the campground, when we started having it, there was no campground. But people didn't need much. So you've got all different stages in the forest regrowth. This, we went through cedar thickets where it had been cleared until recently, and so it grew up in cedars. And then the hardwoods come up through the cedars. This, I believe, is a persimmon tree.
Oh, wow.
Male or female, I couldn't tell you.
Me neither.
Probably male. I don't see any persimmons hanging on.
Would that be I guess, I mean...
And this is converted mostly to hardwoods now.
Interesting.
And then some parts are still mostly cedar trees with the hardwoods just coming up through them. Once they get above, the hardwoods can't grow in the briars and the brush, but the cedars can.
Ah, okay.
So the cedars take hold and choke out the briars and the brush, and then the hardwoods are able to come up and go penetrate the cedars and get above them and shade the cedars out.
This is all happening without you doing much except clearing out the stuff that's falling?
Just off the trail.
Yeah.
I've got to come up here. There's some kind of invasive vine.
Oh.
And I got to get out here in the spring, if possible. I don't know if I'll be able to this year or not, but need to get out here. Oh, and that tree right there was a solo tree that grew up when this was all pasture.
Oh, wow.
And so it crowned real low. And now eventually when the bigger trees come up, they'll shade it out and it'll die.
Crazy.
Because when a tree crowns, you know, they come up, and first they build their root system, and then they shoot the stem up until they can get in the clear and get sunlight, and then they crown. And once they crown, they can't shoot up again.
Interesting.
So the trees that were growing in a pasture that crowned real low to the ground will eventually get shaded out by the new trees growing up.
Okay. Do your kids have any interest in race directing?
Amy put on the strolling gym one year, but I think basically not. Now this is an old road we're on, and it goes on that way.
An old road?
Yeah. You can't see it?
I mean, no. I'd like to say yes.
And this is the stuff, this is the famous V tree, which sadly is probably was its last year this year, because one of them was an ash.
Okay. Oh.
And one of them was an oak. And the ash, that was the first one. I went out walking in the woods and I saw a lot of woodpecker damage on this tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that can only mean that the emerald ash borer has gotten here.
Oh.
And by the end of the next year, all of the ash trees were either dead or dying.
Yeah.
And this one, of course, died. I guess we don't have to take it down, but it'll eventually break off and fall.
Yeah.
Now from here you can see the road bed.
Yeah. And road, like what year would that have been a road?
Maybe up through the 60s.
Amazing.
Then see, this was all clear and has been grown up in cedars. And now that hardwood didn't make it. Where's that? No, that's another cedar. That's the cedars dying. But if you look through there, you can see a few hardwoods starting to come up through them.
Yeah.
Before the cedars, it would have been brush and briars. You had lots of deer tracks. Not much else. It's a really sad thing. We had a mossy oak conservationist move in.
Okay.
A property over on that road. And it was up for sale, and you're thinking, oh God, it's going to end up a subdivision. And this guy, he bought it. Oh, he bought it to hunt on. I thought, this is great.
Yeah.
I'd have rather had a subdivision, because he believes conservation is killing all wildlife except turkey and deer. So he has slaughtered the wildlife and turned my forest into trees.
Wait.
All the raccoons, the possums, the bobcats, foxes, everything that lives and breathes, he slaughtered it all.
On behalf of the trees?
For turkeys.
For turkey? Why is he prioritizing turkeys?
Well, he has a feeder.
Okay.
This is the new breed of hunter, and I don't think it's a hunting at all. Of course, you kill all the wildlife, so there's everything but turkey and deer, so there's no competition.
No competition, yeah.
And then you get you a little stand, a little heated blind.
Yeah.
Which is like just a little heated round hut that's up on stilts, so they can ride. They set up a feeder outside of it that feeds grain.
It's not sport.
To the turkey and deer.
Yeah.
So come hunting season, you ride your ATV out. You do have to climb those 2 or 3 steps to get into your heated blind, and you sit in there and in the warmth
and they just come to you
and look at your phone until you hear the deer or the turkey at the feeder, and then you shoot one.
Yeah.
It's a lot more challenging to raise cattle.
Is this a fair analogy for the new age of ultra runners?
God, let's hope not. They're awfully needy, but that's just because it's encouraged.
Well, I think the industry, there's a lot of money to be made off that neediness, because they've created these new problems that they're also able to solve through better...
Now, the biggest problem is there's a whole set of things, and at the summit of it is, of course, making time limits so soft that anyone could do it. Then the drop downs, so that even when people fail, you can claim it was somehow a success.
Yeah, the mid-race drop down. Yeah.
The drop down is a sin, a crime against nature.
What do you think is lost by implementing the in-race drop down?
Well, it's among the whole set of things. A time limit where you can spend 3 hours sitting down and still finish a 50K.
Right.
But they're so, people have good intentions. They don't want anyone to fail.
Right.
But if no one can fail, then no one can succeed.
Yeah.
And this over here is kind of a natural amphitheater. You can't really see it real good. I had kind of wanted to put the house back in here.
But is this a flood hazard or whatever, floodplain?
No, there are 8 cave entrances on my farm
Really?
that I know of.
Okay. Anyone gone in them?
Now there's that was one great fall. I came out here every weekend, cleared that by hand
Really?
with my tools, my hand tools, and my radio, and listened to football games and cut down trees and cut out the stumps. If you bulldozed it out, then you tear up your soil that would perk.
Yeah.
So you have to take it out intact. It was a hell of a job.
Who are your football teams that you were listening to?
Whoever you can get on a radio down in this hole.
So you just you like football enough to listen to whoever you can get?
Yeah, you listen to the Titans a lot.
Yeah. Are you a Vols fan?
No, I'm not as much of a fan. I think I'll root for a team,
Yeah.
but not because of the team name, just because of the composition of that team.
Yeah.
I want to take you a little bit longer way,
Okay.
if you don't mind. We could go straight up the hill and back to the house.
I live in Paris and I don't ever get to touch dirt or grass. So this is brilliant for me. Much less sacred dirt and grass, you know?
I have to spend a lot of time out here on this trail. I will miss, this will be the first year to work on the trail with no dogs to help.
With no dogs, is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless something changes.
Is that a possibility?
I would like to eventually, I don't want another puppy,
Yeah.
because its life expectancy would be greater than mine.
Okay.
But there's lots of old pit bulls in shelters,
Yeah.
because pit bull puppies are like $2,000, and your old
Really?
pit bulls are
I had no idea.
free for the taking. You would have to spend some time, but that's why the older ones are free for the taking.
Yeah.
They're the best dogs in the world, but they need time. So from over there where I pointed out the old road bed,
Yep.
make a trail that eventually cuts across and comes along this rock outcropping there, and joins back to here. There were several cave entrances that we walked by without me pointing them out to you. There's one right there.
Oh, wow.
But I'd like to make nice connecting trails. I mean, I know where the trails are to walk them without a trail being there, but I don't think that would work. But eventually, if I outlive Allison by enough, use her house for a bed and breakfast and have about 8 or 10 miles of various trails behind the place and just rent it out specifically to runners, you're in reach of all the vacation stuff.
Yeah.
And this would be outside their door.
This is incredible.
I think that would work.
Yeah, I agree.
But it wouldn't be a party house. Whoa! Watch our rocks, they get slick.
Yeah, is that just like dew or?
They're just, whenever they're wet, there's algae that grows on the surface. When they're dry, the algae is kind of gone, but when they get wet, the algae fills with water and becomes slick. There's another old road bed going off that way.
And were these public roads or private roads?
They were farm roads.
Farm roads, got it.
This one through here might have been a public road at one time. It's hard to say. We're on the roadbed now. The old roadbeds make a great place to put a trail.
My family moved to Texas in like 1850, but before that, they were in Monroe, Tennessee, for a long time. Never been out this way since I've known that.
Monroe is a lot further east of here.
Yeah, and before that, of course, they were coming in from New York.
I've run through Monroe.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
I know a little about it, but
so the roadbed goes on across and cuts through the other side before we put the bridges in. And I probably still now would cut a trail that follows the old roadbed to where this trail comes up on the other side. And it gives you a lot more options. It's a nice walk. So I was walking through there with, well, let me show you right back here, with somebody. And I telling them we were following the old roadbed, and they said, "How do you know?" Well, because where that you had drainages cross, they built rock walls.
oh,
There's like 3 more of those little rock walls between here and the other side.
wow. How old do you think that is?
Probably been there a couple of 100 years.
That's amazing.
So before we made it a place for people to vacation,
Yeah.
making this connector here really opens up a lot of opportunities for different routes of different distances.
Let's see, there's another race that in my mind right now that starts, that you call the last annual something.
The last annual Heart of the South.
Yeah, the last annual Heart of the South road race. What's that about?
It's a more advanced version of the Vol State.
Okay.
The Vol State, because we've had it so long, that's an animal trail.
Oh, nice. Deer or turkey?
Deer trail.
Yeah.
Turkey don't really make trails.
They don't need them.
And so they finish at the same place as the Vol State.
Okay.
But they don't know where they're going to start. So they park all their cars in a hayfield or cornfield up on top of the mountain and getting a tour bus, and they don't know where they're going. So it's an exciting ride. Everybody's tried to guess where the race is going to start in advance. At every major intersection where you turn, there's a combination of cheers and groans depending on what people guessed. That is called a cedar bald.
Oh, this right
We're
here?
on the very edge, the bare spot.
Oh, okay.
We're on the very edge of the cedar bald country. It's a unique place where the soil is so thin even cedar trees can't grow. On the other side, there's a lot of cedar glade where the soil is too thin for hardwoods, but only cedars can grow.
Yeah.
And with the soil temperatures get to like 160 degrees in the summer because the rock is right under the surface.
Yeah.
So there's specialized grasses and plants that only grow on the cedar balds.
That's cool.
We just have a tiny little bit of cedar bald country here. Less than we would have if, before that there was fire control. But there's a bunch of them scattered out through the cedar trees there.
Hey, can we get you guys to stop right here and let's take a photo?
Oh, yeah. It's a great spot.
Something like this.
Yeah. Does that sun behind us work? Or?
Let's flip it around actually. And you go your back
Okay.
forward.
Just right here?
Yeah, just right here.
Okay.
You're fine, Liza, right there.
Don't trample the moss now.
Oh yeah.
And never pee on the moss. Pee at the base of cedar trees because it doesn't harm
I
them.
learned from the best a few minutes ago how to do it. One sec.
I wasn't at a cedar tree, but
Look at me, Liza. 1, 2, 3, 1.
I figured with all those cameras, I needed more blockage than.
Yeah. Smart. Than normal, probably.
See, we're back on old road bed.
Do you think all the way that you design a race, is that expression of creativity more than anything?
The Barkley and the Fall Classic are always interesting
Yeah.
because I think I look at it more as expertise, taking the course you're putting together and figuring out how it's going to be to run and how long it'll take to try to keep it right at the edge.
Yeah.
And what you do is you have a basic course, and then every year you make small adjustments to keep parts of it fresh and new. And then eventually it becomes so convoluted that you have to make a major reroute.
Yeah.
And the first year after a major reroute, there's widespread failure, and they say it's impossible. But the humans, they communicate and they talk and they run it and they figure it out. And the impossible becomes possible.
I think of you, I don't know, are you a scientist in a laboratory or are you an artist at a canvas?
A scientist in a laboratory.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see, to watch how the humans approach a problem collectively. And the combination of learning better methodology and better technique, as well as developing the belief that it can be done.
Is that the...
It was really a surprise to find this naturally occurring bridge out here.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you plant it?
Yeah. No, it just sprung up like a mushroom. I think these are actually fungal.
Someone's having some beer out here. You want me to grab that for you?
You might sink, but you can.
I'd rather not sink.
Yeah,
Is that a horse apple?
Yeah. I don't see the one you're pointing at.
It's rotten?
Yeah. You know the whole story behind the bodock tree.
I don't.
You're from Texas.
Well, I grew up throwing horse apples at people and friends and cars, but I don't know the story.
Now I got to come back out here eventually and extend a rock wall up this side to keep the creek contained.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't, when it floods, it doesn't wash over this into the bridge. But when you have a farm, you have limitless things to do.
Yep. So
And that up there around the corner, well, I guess you can see the back corner of Allison's house here.
Yep.
And that's a big old tree.
It's beautiful.
They had a pond that they built over there, but it didn't drain enough territory. And it's problematic to have ponds here because the land is riddled with caves. So all your water will drain out.
Yeah.
But I've thought about along that fence line where there's kind of a low point, maybe building a dam. I'd have to dig some out to make it where it could get deep enough.
Yeah.
Where you could have fish. But I think I'm going to age out of that project.
Yeah. They let you do that sort of stuff out here? You gotta have permits, or is it your land? And you get to kind of do stuff like that if you want. Depends.
Who knows?
So that part that you said about the human component of everyone working together to solve a problem, was that an intent or was that like a bonus?
No, it's something you see.
Yeah.
It's like what people have done with the backyard.
Yeah.
It's a combination of people learning how to. The technical part of backyard running is not the running, which everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
It's how you utilize your few minutes in between laps.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
And a lot of it is when I have the little dogs, or when I go to just a regular, fun, recreational backyard.
Yep.
The first few laps, everyone between laps, they're shopping the food court, looking at the aid tables and standing around talking and chatting. And later on, of course, they're all finishing the loop and collapsing. But if you go to Biggs or one of the big elite runner events,
Yeah.
they finish the first lap and everyone is down. Because you're going to be here a long time. You're going to have a lot of time on your feet, and every minute off your feet is worth its weight in gold.
So 4 miles in, Harvey's sitting down.
Yeah, as quickly as possible.
And are they pacing themselves like in an obvious way? Is someone like Harvey running every yard roughly the same pace?
They run a lot of them the same pace.
Yeah.
You throw in some quicker ones sometimes. You might do some slower ones because you're going through a rough stretch.
Yeah.
You get your landmarks along the way, and you know.
Whoa, where you need to be at any given time.
Is that a foot track?
I gather.
I don't think I've seen. I miss Big. Big would tell me where the poachers came in, where the poachers set up.
Poachers?
Oh, yeah.
Just killing deer without permits?
You realize, of course, that everything outside the city limits is wilderness.
Yeah.
At our old house on Union Ridge, there was a lot of woods behind us. And then we had a little field behind the house, maybe 40 yards across.
Yeah.
And I come out on the deck for my morning cigarette, or start to come out on the deck for my morning cigarette, and lo and behold, there's a guy standing at the back of the yard with a gun, hunting deer. So I went back in and I got my shotgun. And then I opened the back door and came out on the deck, and he looked over his shoulder at me, and I just took it and went,
Yeah, that's all you had to do.
and he turned around and he started walking towards the woods, and every step was faster than the step before.
Did you ever go snipe hunting as a kid?
No, I directed one or two.
Yeah, I was the recipient. I'm reading Lord of the Flies right now, so I was thinking about this recently. I was the recipient of that, of a snipe hunt. It was to this day. So that was like where it ended when I cocked a shotgun, and it turns out there were people hiding in the bush.
There's, this goes all the way around.
What kind of tree is that right there?
The little one?
Yeah.
That's a cedar tree.
Okay.
It could be 100 years old. It's, that's really basically a half cedar barren and half cedar. See, it's cedar barren going on across.
Yeah.
They did bush hog this and keep it in pasture, but the rock is so close under the surface, it just really wasn't worth
didn't work.
anything. And I said, let it grow up. It gives us a cushion from the back of Mr. Stevens' place, because he doesn't want to look out his window and see us running on these trails.
How many people do you let into Bigs and Littles?
Big 75.
Okay.
Littles never fills up.
Really?
I don't know why, but then people will say, well, I wanted to, but I didn't think I could qualify. No, qualify by entering first.
Yeah.
It's just a fun race. So if you go straight on around, you can kind of see where Mr. Stevens' house is.
Yeah, I saw that over there.
You can see his outbuilding there.
When
We first built the first layout of the trail, went through a lot more of these rocks we're fixing to go through. But when the leaves came off the trees in the fall, we're looking right at the back of his house, so I rerouted it. People of course, that's his family farm.
Yeah.
But they tend to they build on the very back so that they're isolated from the road.
Yep.
I learned in Union Ridge, if you build near your boundary, someone will put some fucking piece of shit right on the other side.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But he's in luck. I'm not going to do that to him. And my trail, no, you don't live there so that you have to have curtains in your windows.
Right.
So we moved it.
That's nice of
This is as close as you get to having a view of his house.
You guys stop one more time?
Yep.
I just really, hey, Laz, can we take one more photo?
Yeah.
This is
Can
real
we sit
pretty
on
right
the
here.
rocks?
He wants to sit on the rock.
Sure.
This one?
Sure. It's got a bare spot out there just for sitting.
Oh, or it goes right up your ass. Yeah.
So there used to be a fence along there. You can kind of see it. You see that hole in that fence?
Yep.
That was when the fence went out. When the fence was complete, that hole was cut by poachers
Oh.
before Mr. Stevens built his house.
Crazy.
Josh, you need a cigarette?
Yeah. I'm showing him. Do you have one on you? I don't want to take a blast.
What brand do you have?
Yeah, camels.
Camel which?
They're the girl ones.
Camel Crush.
Yeah, I don't know those.
It's all right. You're too old.
Oh,
Got a gift for you. Zippo. I don't know if you ever go for anything other than the $2 grocery store or the.
what does it say?
It says Hyperlight.
Oh, it's too fancy.
Too fancy.
So I had a cigarette lighter when I was young because they didn't have Bics and stuff yet.
Right.
And I always carried it in my pants pocket. And I got out and was in the water. Doing what, I don't remember, but I was in the water all day, up to here.
Yeah.
When I came out, it had caused lighter fluid to leak out of my lighter onto my thigh.
Oh gosh.
And it made a blister that there's still a thick place in the skin there today.
Was that in?
I was probably 18 or 19.
So that was Tennessee. You were in Tullahoma. How do you say
It
that?
would have been it was in Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay.
Tullahoma,
You were born in Texas?
San Marcos,
Oh,
which
Texas State.
at the time it was a barren desert between Austin and whatever
San
that.
Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
All my mother always talked about was the scorpions in the sink in the bathtub every morning.
Yeah. Did you know? I mean, right? You're real close to Bandera. It was a great race. Do you know Bandera?
I've not been to Texas much since then.
Yeah. Did you have family from? Like, was it just a dad's job?
My dad was in the Army.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was Gary Air Force Base.
Yeah. Is that why you were named Gary?
I don't know, but when my brother was born, he worked at Douglas Aircraft.
Is his brother's name Douglas?
My brother's Doug. Douglas.
I like that. Simple.
People in names. There was a stray pit bull that showed up, and I'm not sure what became of it, but if it hadn't found a home, it was probably going to end up being mine. And I would have called it Happy Dog. There was Big Dog and Little Dog, Wiener Dog. I don't know why people give their dogs weird names. How does it pop into your head to give your dog
Weird name.
a weird name? And then they say, his name is such and such. Well, is it really? That's kind of like saying the name of that is a hickory tree. Well, it doesn't actually have a name.
Right. There's also, I thought you were going to go through, there's a town called Happy. Maybe you walk through it in Texas.
Now, this was just a really happy dog. It was a really good little dog.
And it was just going through your land?
No, this guy lives over, Philip Miller, who lives down at the end by the slab bridge, had picked it up and was looking for the owner. It showed up in his yard. This is dog dumping country here.
Okay. And trash, people dumping like mattresses on the side of the road?
We've got a freezer and a wine cooler that's been dumped over on Broyles Road.
You think about picking it up? Bringing it home?
No, the county will eventually come get it. It's one of the foolish things that they do.
They enable it?
We get lots of TVs and tires because they charge you to dump TVs and tires.
And oil.
Well, then they have to come out and get them, which costs a lot more than what they collect from all the TVs and all the tires that they collect their dollars for.
Yeah.
It would be stupid. Just let people dump them there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
absolutely.
saves this government money.
A ton of money. Yeah. Not always the highest priority.
But some of these people are just trash and they just dump because this is wilderness territory.
Yeah.
But I walked over here for the next little section because I really like this part of the course. This part of the farm.
This is, I mean, it's just all beautiful.
Now, we're never, and I failed to emphasize enough before Biggs this year, do not shit in the woods. I'm sure
have a friend who
all
that's
my
his nickname.
all my neighbors had their duck come home having rolled in human shit because people shit all over the course. So we've got to return to really overemphasizing that. You're never not in somebody's yard.
Good point.
This is a different place. It's kind of like out there. You have to watch who goes on to the Castle Rock Ranch. Now they got 2,500 acres. Yeah, I get that. But
Still belongs to somebody.
it's their yard. They feel the same way as if someone drove across the corner of your front yard when it's a
Yeah.
20 foot by 20 foot square.
Yeah.
This is my yard.
I get it. I believe in that. Do you ever have anyone just outright surprise you that I know you're a numbers guy. You're running the numbers, Barkley, and they just completely surprise you that they went further than you thought?
Oh, yeah. You frequently have people that do better or worse than what you anticipated. There's a lot of math in selecting the field.
Well, I heard you talk once about women on average 11%
Yeah.
slower than men, and it wasn't until one of the men finished in such a way where there was 11% left, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you thought, okay, the door's open.
Well, no, it would take an outlier among outliers.
That was where I wrote that in my notes. Like, I just feel like when you're talking outliers, when you're beyond 2 standard deviations of the mean, it's really hard to make that prediction.
Both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And you have to have a lot of different skill sets. We've had women show up who had the navigational skills or the wood skills
Yeah.
to do it and weren't fast enough. And of course, plenty of women who are fast enough but simply lack the overall skill set.
Yep.
And then you have to have a different mentality because you don't have that human support on the course.
That's right.
You are self-reliant for many hours at a time. This is a bunch of headless caves.
Whoa.
The tops of the caves have eroded off, but you still have a network of caves, and some of them over there are really deep, where it's deeper than your head.
Really?
But you're right in Mr. Stevens
Ah.
behind his house. So we moved to this one. And there's still some little branches of cave.
Wow. One thing that surprised me about this course is how technical it is. I wouldn't have guessed how technical it is, because it's not. So it's not just.
Considering how far people go,
Yes, to run this for 4.1667 miles. The technicality, it's impressive.
I liked it for the backyard because you have to be a total runner.
Yes.
If you really are just not any good on the trails,
Yep.
but I said there's trail runners and there's road runners and there's runners. Now, I don't like to run the trails that much because I like to see.
Yep.
So I was never a big fan of trail running. I understand if you never get out in the woods, it's just blessed to be in the woods, even if you're missing everything.
Yeah.
If we had wildlife still, I would have been showing you all the tracks. I used to take my grandkids out here and you show them the tracks and the poop and the different stuff and tell them this is how you read the news in the woods. You see, this is where something sets up at night, and this is where here's a little pile of feathers. Something had dinner. And then you look at how how the bird was eaten to determine what it was that ate it. You know, something that pulls all the feathers out or something that just eats the whole thing.
Oh. Interesting.
But yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of the farm.
How did you choose that as you're
Except
walking
when there's
stick?
a tree down and I have to lug a fucking chainsaw out here.
Yeah,
God damn.
that's a beast.
Chainsaws are not designed for lugging through the woods.
Watch your step right there. And here.
You are going to have one sore ass back when you get home.
Yeah.
And then only a few big trees lived on this, but they didn't get cut because they're too hard to get to. All that stuff is loose. All those rocks wobble if you step on them.
Wow.
We called this the wobbly rocks on the original trail. But we moved it down to go through that little cave so that we wouldn't be in Mr. Stevens' face.
Okay.
Your neighbors shouldn't
sense.
have to ask you to be considerate.
Fair.
And then that's, of course, that's his place over there.
Yeah.
Beautiful rocks.
It is. I mean, it looks like so
course,
so like it looks almost like man-made. It's so like perfect looking. So how did that become the stick you use for walking?
Larry Kelly brought one of these to Barkley one time
Uh-huh.
and said he thought it's a show prod for cattle.
Oh.
See, it's a hot shot. You plug it in there.
Yeah.
There's times I wish I could carry the battery that goes with it. It's good for staving off dogs,
Okay.
but it's not a good weapon for eliminating the problem forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I told the people at the meth trailer, which is gone now, thank God. And they had their pit bull was not a nice dog, not a well-trained, not a good dog. And I had a lot of trouble with it till one day nobody was home. And after that, whenever it saw me, it ran to the yard and got behind the fence and barked at me from there.
Have you
You don't run all your life in Tennessee unless you just run tiny circles around your house, or you know how to come to an agreement with dogs. The agreement being, this is my fucking road. That's your yard. If you come in my fucking road, you better want some shit, because I got some shit for you. When we first moved to Union Ridge, I had a neighbor that had a biting dog. And I went along having to do the thing that I'm sure we've all done.
Yeah.
The walking in circles to keep the dog in front of you
Yes.
until you finally get past its house far enough.
Yep.
Now, when you got a good rain, these are cool waterfalls along here. This is really a scenic stream when it's got water in it. So, one day I came by and no one was home. And I circled until I got past, and I went and armed myself and came back. And me and Wally had a come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah.
So, as it turned out, that guy's, oh God, don't put this in there with the name Wally.
Okay.
Although he may suspect what happened. And so his son played basketball for us, and he was down there. He said, I see you run by my house. He says, you might want to run another way. Well, in front of your house in the country, there's 2 ways to go. And there's going to be a dog both ways, at least one. And I said, oh, me and Wally have come to an agreement. So it wasn't, just a few days later, I came running past his house, and he was out in the front yard, and Wally was out there. And I come running down the road, and Wally looks up and sees me, and he just takes off and runs around behind the house. And Gary gave me kind of a look. It's like, yeah, me and Wally, hey, Wally's alive. And he's scared shitless of people that wear shorts. Because you can't trust those motherfuckers. I hate it, but you know, if people let their dog run loose,
Yep.
the road belongs to me. So we were going to clear this out and lay a clear track. Tim Dines came and helped me. There was a huge rock pile here.
Yeah.
And we moved them all around and made a good path for people to run through instead of clambering over the loose rock. But when he got to that one, it's attached to the center of the earth.
Couldn't do anything about it.
Tim is a big strapping guy, and he leans over, and, you know, we tried to move it, and then he said, you know, just step back. And he got down there, and he wraps his arms around, and he goes, ah! It didn't budge, but I swear the treetops swayed. And I'm pretty sure that some people fell off bar stools at Buster's in Murfreesboro. I didn't see the report, but it was probably at least a 4.
Yeah.
Now this is older forest here, but it has at one time, someone came here and thinned it out for the purpose of cutting timber on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a lot more undergrowth because the canopy hasn't completely filled out yet.
What do you think it is about, is there any special sauce, so to speak, for Harvey Lewis? Like walking this and, again, seeing how technical it is and, you know.
Harvey Lewis's mental game
Yeah.
is out of this world. I got to watch him from, you know, he said his real claim to fame was 2 big-time world record assists.
Okay.
And you thought, yeah, that's the second one was to Courtney Dawalter.
Oh.
Who, you know, if I was her in this part of her career, I wouldn't do backyards because you got to compete with everybody, which means there's 5 times as many competitors.
Yeah.
Women can win as much as men, but there's 5 times as many competitors. So
Right.
but Harvey seemed to be stuck at 68 hours.
Wow.
And we worked together on how to manage your sleep. And then the other part is having the will to go to the starting line every hour when it's not always fun.
Yeah. When you talk
And-
about managing sleep, you're just talking about is he going to run these 4 miles enough to give him so he can get 5 minutes of sleep, or?
Yeah, but you have to get your 5 minutes of sleep.
Yeah. So you have to be able to fall asleep and get back up.
You have to know that you're going to fall asleep almost as much as be able to.
Ah. Yep.
People do what people will do. They know they need a nap, and they lay down for about 3 minutes, and they jump up and say, I can't sleep. No, if you've allotted 10 minutes for sleep or 11 minutes for sleep, you lay straight away down, you close your eyes, and you just lay there. A lot of times you're going to drift in and out of sleep and never know it.
Yeah.
And because people will say, well, I didn't sleep. Yeah, you were snoring. You were asleep. And the second one is you just developed that. Then he practiced as a school teacher, like using short amounts of time that he had to go in and have a cot and
Whoa.
lay down on that cot until he could just lay down and go to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I was a natural. Unfortunately, it's a great skill to have,
Yeah.
to be able to take a nap anytime you're not doing something,
Yeah.
but it's not the greatest skill to have when you're stuck in business meetings,
Yeah, like or becoming like, what is it, narcoleptic?
because we don't manage meetings very well. We have lots of people with nothing to do. Now that's a cool cave entrance there. I spotted that one in the winter. That one's a air out entrance.
Okay.
So I was walking the trails in the snow, and there's a hole in the snow, and you can see
Steam or something.
the condensation coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't change to my old shoes, which I guess I've got other shoes to be dress shoes. My running shoes are dress shoes first.
And then they convert.
Once I get some kind of stain or something on them,
Yeah.
they become running shoes. Then when the soles are worn out, they're working on the farm shoes. But you do see lots of deer tracks.
Did I just see steam coming out here? Seeing things. Felt like I saw some.
Yeah, I don't think there's a hole here, but you never know.
Maybe it's jet lag.
So the bodock tree,
Uh-huh.
it's a relict species. R-E-L-I-C-T. See, there's a huge dead
Whoa.
ash tree. I had so many beautiful ashes on this property. I had the option when the ash borer hit, we could have come out and logged them all and got a lot of money out of it. But it would have utterly destroyed the forest. And I'm 70. I would not live to see it recover.
Yeah.
So I just said, let them fall. But it still sucks. You'd be surprised. It's actually quite a bit of work to maintain trails like this.
I believe it. I mean, I was just thinking that it's smart to just do this as you go so you don't ever have a big day.
Well, in May, in April and May, when the first big burst of stuff comes out, just abandon the trails because everything is growing really fast.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get into late June, sometime in June when it starts to get drier and everything slows down, then you go out and you cut the greenery away. And it's pretty easy to maintain it the rest of the year. So the bodock trees used to grow all over North America. But those big old monkey apples, hedge apples, monkey brains, whatever you call them. This is a little bodock, which you don't see many of. They had reduced to only a small area in Texas. That's why I can't believe you're from Texas and don't know the story of the bodock. And the Indian tribes that lived there, they kept the bodocks going because this wood, it is incredibly hard and has great tensile strength. And so bodock is a derivation of French bow d'arc.
Okay.
Bow of the tree. Or tree of the bow, really.
Yeah.
And so they made those bows. They have found bodock bows as far away as Maine. They were traded. This was the Lamborghini of bows. It was, if you had a bodock bow, it was like a priceless heirloom. It was the very best. So they kept the bodocks alive for thousands of years.
Wow.
While they died out in the rest of the country. They live a long time, but there was some big mammal that ate. I think maybe ground sloths, but it could have been mammoths, mastodons. There's no telling what it was that ate those big fruits.
Yeah.
Every year they grow the fruits, but nothing ever comes to eat them. But a bodock has something else. Check this out right here. The first like 20 feet, it has thorns. So when the white people came and the population density reached such that you couldn't free range all your animals and you started having to fence off your land, they did split rail fences, which last about a year.
Okay.
And one of the things they did, those bodock trees, this also can be formed and shaped.
Yeah.
And you had the hedgerow tradition from Europe.
Okay. Yes.
So they transplanted the bodock back all over the country. See those thorns?
Yep.
And used them to make hedgerows. So when you find bodock trees, you're on a property line that goes back at least a couple of 100 years.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. So I wonder if that's what in Texas in the Comanches, because they were known for their bow hunting skills. They could get off 3 arrows in 1 second.
Yeah,
off the side of a horse.
I don't know if they were great bow hunters, but you know, before we spread the diseases and then the population so badly.
Yep.
There was a lot of trade. And those bodock, you know, being the tribe that had the bodock bows, which I guess the Indians didn't, I don't know what the Indians' name for them was.
Okay.
But they were special. If you cut a bodock tree with your chainsaw, it'll throw sparks.
Really?
And you will have to get a new chain.
Man.
They are unbelievably hard. But another cool thing, there's another relict species that you're familiar with. and never thought about where it came from, that the same way the animal that used to disperse the seeds is long gone. But humans, because they value something about this plant, they have kept them alive till now. And when I tell you, you'll go, ah, the avocado.
Huh.
There is no mammal living in North America, no native mammal in North America any longer that can swallow that seed.
And spread it.
But something used to. But the Indians discovered they really liked avocados. And you know, if you've ever done the growing an avocado seed,
Yeah.
you have to like give them special treatment to
Yeah.
make them sprout.
Yes.
And probably, well, if you're that kind of, have that kind of mind, you've thought, well, how in the hell do they grow in the wild? They don't anymore.
Yeah. All of them farms.
But humans have kept them alive for 10,000, 12,000 years.
Okay, so are you saying dinosaurs?
No, it would have been the large mammals.
Okay.
Dinosaurs was 65 million.
Right. Okay, so what was 12,000 years ago? What could have done that?
And between 13 and 11,000 years ago, when the human population of North America got big,
Yeah.
big enough, all the megafauna died out. The mastodons,
Okay.
the mammoths, the giant ground sloths, the glyptodonts,
Yeah.
all the megafauna. They'll argue forever about whether humans led to their extermination or not. But yeah, look at how we do.
Well, there was some mass extinction event 12 to 13,000 years ago. What do they call it?
Oh, the little ice age.
The
maybe?
longer dryas.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those.
Far from an expert on it, but I know there's something significant about 12 to 13,000 years ago.
The next major volcanic event is
Younger
going to
dryas.
do humans a lot of damage. Unless we get the really bad plague first. As we demonstrated with one that wasn't bad at all, that we managed to make terrible. That we don't, we are not capable of dealing with it. Now that's the Bell's house back on top of the hill, and then this is their land on the other side. And we haven't gone past their corner yet. We're close to it.
I guess we haven't talked much about strolling Jim.
Yeah,
That's a horse, right?
yeah. I wanted to connect. That was the first thing I directed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of connect it to their local stuff. And the horse show was still really big then.
Yep. And is that 40 miles?
Yeah, kind of patterned after the comrades.
Ah, okay.
Would desire it would become something that lasts for a long time, but I don't think it will. And there's their corner.
Okay.
This little piece over here is about 10 acres I don't own yet.
You got plans?
Yeah. Since I got here, you cut off all the sound for a minute, and I'll tell you.
We'll cut it off. Pause it for a second.
Officially cut it off.
Yeah.
Can we cut this?
Yeah.
Because if you,
Yeah. they read you that way, or if they catch you apologizing for something that you didn't do, like standing at a grocery store and someone comes and stands behind you and the person in front of you apologizes for getting in your way. That's how the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world would identify their targets.
I realized that at about 20 years old, 20 or 21, and this guy was a preacher. He knew my wife and not me, my first wife,
Okay.
who was always wanting to change. And they arranged a car swap. Well, he had a Hornet. We had, I don't know what it was. They weren't either one. You know, they're $500 cars.
Yep.
Probably $50 cars then. And so we signed the titles across and swapped the cars. Get home, and the first thing I find is that in the trunk, I have a spare that's flat. Oh, I didn't know the spare was flat. Well, it's got a big gouge in the sidewall where you can't ever repair it. And there's a yellow chalk circle around it. You knew it was, you not only knew it was flat, you knew it was ruined.
Yep.
And then it had some other kind of little hiccup in it didn't, figured out it had some kind of a problem running. But this was in the days of simple cars. Not the computerized monstrosities, ones where that you could actually get under the hood and work on it. And I sat and fiddled around looking at it, and I figured out what was wrong, and it was like $5 worth of parts to fix it. And our car, which had been running perfectly well, ran for about a month and then had like the whole transmission go out of some huge. And I thought, there is a God. Because the mechanical problem too, you could tell, yeah, he thought he was dumping all of his problems on us and getting our good car.
Yep.
But I will say this for John Winston. We have trails also on his property that connect. But for the logic of the piece of property and for the road beds that go across to make trails, and there's a huge section of amphibian habitat up there that I'd really like to preserve.
Yeah.
The mossy oak conservationists don't kill all the amphibians. I guess if they went further, they would.
What's the elevation gain of this course?
It's like, I want to say 450 feet per loop.
Man, and how many loops were this year? Was the winter?
104, 108.
That's right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was 108.
Gosh, that's insane.
It's really far. That's a really great tree down there on the side of the creek. These creeks are all dry, but there's caves under the ground with the water in them. It's not really dry. If you go further up the hill, the creeks come out with springs and then they run down, and when they get just a little ways above us, they sink down into the caves in the ground. So they only run water when the rain is greater than the amount of water that can go through all the little leaks and holes. So we're getting near the end of the endless loop. The first time we ran a backyard here, we're really running the opposite direction. You come out and climb that road that we didn't climb and then come around the trail where we're finishing up. That's a nice tree.
I agree.
And then you go around and you circle back the way we came out. And I didn't think about people not recognizing a place they'd only been 15 minutes earlier. And they circled this loop and then went right back up the hill again. About a third of the field did it twice. We gave them like 4 hours to get back on track. It was the first backyard ever. The rules weren't hard and fast then.
Yeah.
And then a couple of them did it 3 times. It's just, but you know, they just get out here and all they see are rocks and trees.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
You mentioned Comrades earlier. Did you ever run that?
No. I never thought I'd go overseas
Yeah.
until all this other stuff started and people were inviting me to races. I never had any desire to go overseas, but it's fun to go overseas and go to a race, especially backyards, because, like I say, there's a social. There's a lot of time when you're there and you can talk.
Yeah.
So you get to meet people and be around people that live there and know people. We get to do some touring and sightseeing, and
Yeah.
we don't have in our, it looks almost like a fossil, but I'm not sure. Not good enough eyesight.
I'm just not smart enough.
So we would go over there and you go to a race and you got to talk some and take selfies.
Yeah.
And not sign stuff so much until this goddamn book thing started.
Now everyone just wants you to sign that book.
They wanted me to sign that book. I tell them, they say, will you sign your book? It's not my book.
Did you read it?
It's Jared's book. No, I haven't read it. What would be more boring than a book
can't
about
imagine.
me?
I don't know. I've never had a book written about me.
Now, think about it. When he got to a certain point, he sent me all his stuff he had written, and I went through the part that was like more factual. See, that's the hill we just came off of. It's a little higher than it looked when you were going down it.
Yep. Wow.
And I went through it looking for factual errors. If it was part where he was at Biggs and he was giving his impressions, well, I didn't need to proof that.
Right.
Because it's his impression. I can't correct what's in his head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then with the experience of having stuff written for a long time, you got to learn the difference between material errors and stuff that,
Have no consequence. Or
it's
have less
not.
consequence.
It's not worth the trouble. The color of your shirt.
Yeah.
You know.
Like the spirit versus the letter of it.
It's just people they read stuff written about ultras, and a lot of times there's math errors.
Yep.
Well, they're immaterial. None of those people know what that number means. It doesn't have any visceral impact to them.
You're right.
And in 5 minutes, if they quote it, they'll quote it wrong anyway. People are funny about distance. Here's that rock ledge again. I forgot to point out when we were over there that it's the same rock ledge that's on this hill. Of course, you can find the same rock ledge. Walking across country, you'll see rock ledges that you can follow in the road cuts for 50, 60 miles.
It's incredible.
Because you're going up and down, but it's the same thickness of the same rock and the same layer.
Gosh, it's beautiful.
So this ledge is several places. I was going to go straight through there, and connect to some other trails I've got going. And you can circle our little hilltop right on this rock ledge. And it's about a half mile. If it's really, really wet, it's a nice place to do it. And then there's the molar. That's a dinosaur tooth, you know.
The molar.
Yeah, it's a molar. What I like to do is look at these and remember my spelunking days.
Yeah?
In my spelunking days, if my head would go through a hole, I could get my whole body through it.
Gosh.
And I've crawled through holes that no bigger than those. Way down deep under the ground,
Yeah.
where you're relying on the guy behind you, if you get stuck, to grab your feet and pull you back out.
Do you know the story of Nutty Putty Cave in Utah?
No.
Someone going through something like that, but they were disoriented, and they go into something like that, and it's the wrong thing, and they go in so far to the point where every time they even take a breath in, it's pushing them further in, and they ended up just leaving him there and closing off the cave.
No.
I'm not much of a spelunker.
When's he gonna come out?
Well,
He'll be out soon.
I went through plenty of holes that when you get between two flat layers, is wide,
Yeah.
but it's narrow. And you get in deep enough, you have to exhale, scoot forward.
Yes.
Inhale as much as you can, and then exhale and scoot forward.
Oh.
Now you just think about the shit you did and think, God damn. I don't think I would do that at gunpoint. Now the trail used to go up along there and really do some winding through the rocks. But when it became a championship race, we took out a lot of the hardest stuff to make it more feasible to do.
What by definition made it a championship race? You just declared it a championship race?
Well, the runners started calling it a championship race in 2017 because all the best backyarders in the world were here. And then 2019, we called it the de facto championship
Yeah.
because we went from just letting people to enter to making a portion of the field qualify.
Uh-huh.
And then it went to full qualifications in 2020. You could still qualify with an exceptional performance on a non-backyard,
Uh-huh.
but after that there were so many quality backyard races that it no longer worked that way. So see, I used to be weaving through all those rocks up there.
Wow.
And we moved it down so you could run straight. We've done a lot of making the course easier from what it originally was. The first year they did the same loop the whole race. And then when it got dark, we lost all the runners. Really, it ended up going, I think, 16 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But what got everyone was they couldn't finish the loop in an hour because they couldn't find their way fast enough. So then we did the road loop. But serendipity is your friend. When it became a championship, you think, yeah, that's really the perfect way to do it, because now you can't be just a road runner or just a trail runner.
Yeah. That feels championshipy.
And there's a lot of, basically the road runners and trail runners, it's in their head. When you see some guy, they come running off the trail, and as soon as they hit the road, they got there. Oh God! Oh my hip! Oh my knee! Oh my foot! Oh my God! I'm dying! You just want to slap the fucking shit out of them because it's just stupid.
Yeah. What's the scenario like? Just they're worn out or what?
No, they imagine in their mind that if they step on pavement, they'll be injured. The funny thing was, I crossed from the days when all ultras were roads to all ultras were trails.
Yeah.
So initially, the majority of the runners would not run a trail run because, my leg, my foot, my hip, my knee.
Yeah.
Fucking morons.
Yeah.
It's just running.
Right. Yeah.
And they've done lots of studies in trying to develop those super fast tracks. You know what the biggest obstacle is to making a super fast track? Your suspension system adjusts so that the stress is always the same.
Oh my gosh. So it proves your point.
Yeah, now you stand on concrete all day, it'll make your back hurt.
So Laz, this last piece here is about artifacts. It's something that just for me personally, like, I don't, like the tangible world is becoming less and less of a thing. It feels like we're so digital and we've kind of lost a lot of our sort of tactile and in-personness and all of that, and which I do obviously clearly see you doing a lot of that. I'm going to work through 3 artifacts here with you and just chat about them. See what you think. So so you say you've been to Europe. Have you ever bought cigarettes in Europe?
I don't think I've bought any, but I've had European cigarettes.
Okay, so these are the Camel Yellows.
I get the ones from Sweden with all the
graphics.
All the graphics
Yes.
on the front.
So on cigarette packs in France and all of Europe, you can't brand them. You can't put a design on them. You have to put some sort of image on it that's a warning of why you shouldn't do it. And so I think it's pretty funny. So this is a dad blowing smoke in his child's face and the child's crying. So not that anyone's ever done that. So there's
I'm sure it's
well, I mean, anything's possible. I should say I hope that I don't know anyone who's done that. So the first time that I ever had a cigarette, I was in 5th grade and I stole a pack from the corner store in Fort Worth. And I went to a drainage ditch and into the tunnel with my friend Steve, and we smoked a few, and it was the worst experience of my life. But somehow came to enjoy them from time to time after it being such an awful experience. Do you remember your first cigarette?
Yeah, I would have been 12.
Yep. Okay.
And went to the filling station and bought them out of a machine for 30 or 35 cents.
Mm.
And
was this in Oklahoma or Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Because when we moved to Tennessee, seeing 12-year-old kids smoking at that time wasn't really shocking.
Yeah, this would have been 1966.
Yeah, it was. So I started smoking and running the same year.
Hey, Ben, can I get the pack, by the way? Smoking and running in the same year. Did you smoke continuously through all of your running life?
No.
Okay.
No, when I made the cross country team in high school, then I never smoked again until obviously my career running at a school was over with. I never even drank a carbonated beverage the whole time.
Really?
And then when I was really trying to still compete, I would not smoke for sometimes 6 to 10 months getting ready for a particular event. Mm-hmm. But you're always fortified with the knowledge that steps beyond the finish line, you were going to have a cigarette waiting.
Yeah.
The best cigarette you'd had in a year.
Yeah. Did you, the iconic lighting of the cigarette to start Barclays and all that, was that an accident? Like, was that like some grand design, or just all of a sudden one day you did it and there it was?
There was an epiphany for me in my 30s when one day it dawned on me, just because I was told not to do something,
Yeah.
I wasn't obligated to then therefore do it. That sometimes it was okay to say, yeah, that's a really bad idea. I could die. But kind of thumbing my nose at authority was led to a rocky youth.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like
If I was told you not allowed to do it or you can't do it, then by God, I was going to find
matter
a way
what.
to do it.
yeah.
And as a youth, I have scorn for people who vandalize things, tear things up, damage things.
Yeah.
But if you do something that does no actual damage, and when people come out in the morning and they see it, they go, what? One, why?
Yeah.
And two, how? How is that even possible?
Yeah.
That has some quality to it.
Right.
I always said the sweetest word you ever hear when you're in high school is, we know you're involved. Because it means, one, you have a signature that this thing, you were involved. You were the one that
It has your
planned
fingerprints on
You
it, yeah.
thought of it. You figured out how it could be done. And second, they have no evidence. We know you're involved.
This sort of dovetails nicely into the second artifact here, and that is,
I don't always do those things anymore.
yeah, always. You don't always. Okay, so 1981, Ultra Running magazine starts, and you're writing from the South, from the first issue.
Yes. They went around to races months in advance of coming out, and they put flyers out for the new Ultra Running magazine.
Yeah.
And I had, most of the time, I pretty much lived with a tight budget.
Yeah.
And my subscription budget back then, because you couldn't get things to read except on hard copy.
Yeah.
My subscription budget was already pushed beyond the limit. And so I thought, I got to get this. And so I wrote to him and I said, how about if I write an article for you every month in exchange for a subscription?
Oh, wow.
I'd never written anything, and it really showed, especially at first. But what you do, if you're smart, instead of griping about editing, you study the editing. And that's telling you, what you need to square up and tighten up on.
Well, knowing that, doing some research on that, so that you're doing this writing, reminded me of another story. Mechanical watches had this great movement where, can I use that lighter? This great movement in...
I have another one.
Oh, you got the Hyperlight lighter. Here, I'll trade you. So there was this great...
Do not put that in your pants pocket and swim.
I wasn't planning on it, but now I'm absolutely not planning on it.
Now you're not going to do it.
So when quartz movements were introduced into watches, mechanical watches, which were very expensive, very complex, been made, for a long time. Maybe I'll miss some details here. The 70s or 80s, every major watchmaker in the world went to quartz, except for there was one of note that didn't, and they stayed making mechanical all the way through what they called the quartz crisis, because Rolex put a quartz in a watch, and all of these great brands were putting a quartz in a watch. The parallel here is that this tactile sort of life, everyone went digital, so we lost print. And every magazine, every publication went to some form of digital and abandoned their sort of mechanical, their tactile, the magazine in hand. This is a magazine called Like the Wind. It's my favorite running magazine, and they were conceived and started in what we call the digital crisis, I guess, if there was a quartz crisis. It's just great stories about why people run. It's not like a Runner's World or anything like that. I'm a huge fan of it, but I think it makes me think of you in a lot of ways, is that you've been putting on races since 1979. There have been all of this professionalization of the sport, like we've talked about in other conversations, and you have sort of navigated and stayed the course, and not by maybe some design of your own, it's just who you are. And, so
Yeah.
I think I just want to acknowledge that. So this tactile piece here of saying you navigated the digital crisis, the quartz crisis, and the Laz that's sitting here is probably very similar to the Laz of 1979.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, maybe mellowed a little.
Tell me about that.
So it's ironic you started with watches, because the advent of the digital watch was for such a breakthrough, because the mechanical watches on your arm when you run, if they live a year, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
Because on those mechanical works is just way too much stress, and they just give up the ghost.
Yeah.
And so my first digital watch was a handout at a baseball game.
Huh.
And
A professional baseball game?
the minor league
Okay.
in the Nashville Sounds, and they gave everybody a watch. And then I found I could buy a watch like that for like $2. And it would run for years before the battery finally died. Now they are recharge their battery, their solar power.
So just
So
indefinite.
you keep them until the rubber band around your wrist breaks. And then it's cheaper to just get a new watch than it is to replace the band.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, kind of crazy.
The old ones, it was cheaper to get a new watch than to replace the battery.
Yeah.
So my most expensive watch I've ever worn since then was like $11.
So you very much, I think some people at some point came to confuse punk rock with how you dressed and not how you think. And you have this punk rock air about you, but like in 1970, were you listening to the Ramones? Like what music was going on with you then? Or were you a country guy?
No. Well, not today's country. Some of the old real country
Yeah.
was okay. And I go back and forth. I listen to an incredible variety of things.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Akitan? It's a Mongolian band.
Oh, Akata. No, I have no idea.
You haven't seen them?
No, I'll look into it.
It's like it's either OKYTEN or OTYKEN.
Okay. I bet Google will help. I'll figure it out. I'm in.
sure you can find it.
We'll listen to it when we drive away.
And then I hit a stretch of the newest music I've stumbled across. Something at Chasing Abbey.
Okay.
It's an Irish band.
Okay.
But they only have one song with different words. It's really good.
Is it just like an old Irish, like traditional
No, not
song
exactly.
form, or
Chasing Abbey, it's got some really good. They got some really good songs.
okay?
Or a really good song. And really like industrial.
Okay.
A lot of Skinny Puppy.
Okay.
Heard of Skinny Puppy?
Yeah, I've definitely heard of Skinny Puppy.
And try to remember the names of bands. That's like books. I can't remember
Yeah.
who they're.
Well, are you a reader? You like to read books? Do you like?
Yes, I'm gonna have to have cataract surgery so that I can read faster, because it's too much of a struggle now.
Yeah.
But now there's so much to read on the internet. When you were a kid, you would think of things that you wonder about, and you write it down on scraps of paper and stuff them in your pocket. But it had to wait till you went to the library, and then you could go to the resources and track down some material on that topic.
Yeah.
Now, and most of those scraps of paper just died unused because it was too slow of a process.
Yep.
Now you have Google. Except Google has plummeted in value because of AI,
Right.
which doesn't give you reliable answers.
That's right.
But you learn how to detect when you're getting an AI answer and get around that and go to an actual source. And then, because every time you answer a question, every question you answer raises 20 more questions.
Yep.
But you're just sitting there effortlessly going from place to place
Yep.
until you get a much more complete picture.
Yep. Yep. You know, it's
So yeah, when I was all my childhood, got in trouble for reading.
really
Oh yeah.
interesting because you were supposed to be doing something else.
No, because there was a variation. Miss Bell, my third grade teacher,
Uh-huh.
bragged to high heavens about my ability to concentrate, or focus. Now you would call it focus.
Yeah.
Your parents, most teachers, most everyone doesn't like the fact that if I started in that book, if I started reading an article, everything else would cease to exist.
Right. I get it.
Immediately.
So-
and I was insatiable.
Yes. Yeah. Have you read any Hemingway? Are you a Hemingway fan at all?
I've read a little. I don't much read fiction type books.
Really, I only have recently got into it. So the final one here, it's going to come with a bit of a presentation because I'm gonna kind of give you the high level of the book, and I'm going to tell you why it made me think of you. So
Is that The Old Man in the Sea?
it's The Old Man and the Sea.
I managed to dredge through that in high school, but
I read it for the first time last year. So I live in Paris, very close to where he lived in Paris, and he wrote books about where he lived in Paris and all this. But I just, not everything about him, of course, is admirable. But the first thing I ever learned about it, I was in Ketchum, Idaho. That's where he's buried. That's where he committed suicide. And so I saw his grave there in '05 on my honeymoon with my wife. And have just sort of been interested in him for a long time. But now we live in the neighborhood that he was in Paris. So The Old Man and the Sea is about an old man and a younger man. Santiago is the old man. Manolin is the son. They're in Cuba, or not his son, the younger kid. And he is an out-of-luck fisherman. It's been 80 plus days since he's caught a fish, and that's life on this, where they live.
yeah.
Is catching fish. He's gone 80 plus days without catching a fish. And so Manolin's parents say you can no longer hang out, you can no longer go fishing with Santiago. So Santiago's sad because he and this boy had become close. This boy helps him. He's an aging old man. He shouldn't really be out fishing on his own. And he goes fishing on his own because Manolin can't come. And for the first time in 80-something days, he catches a marlin. But he's out there alone. And so he fights with the marlin for several days. And he finally reels it in. He's bloody. The fishing line, everything is cut through his hands, and he's just really beat up, but he pulls it in. And so for the first time in 80 plus days, he kind of regains some of his dignity because he can catch fish again. Well, as he's hauling the marlin back, the marlin gets eaten by the other fish in the sea that he's taking it back. So all he brings back is a skeleton of a fish. So he has nothing to bring back. But, okay, so here's what I love about it. Hemingway believed that life is full of things that are bigger than us, things that are out of our control: nature, age, death, and luck. And so this was the things that you can't control: nature, age, death, and luck. You can't control those things. But what you can control is essentially what's inside and how you respond to those things. So Santiago returns, and he's proud of the marlin, but he has no marlin truly. He just has a skeleton of the marlin. But what he did was only thing he did then was he proved himself to himself. He didn't prove.
Like crossing the country.
Exactly. So here we go. This is where it ends. Victory lies in the struggle and not the outcome. This was the moral of The Old Man and the Sea, is that he was not able to bring meat, back to the village. He wasn't. It was purely he went out as an old man and regained the dignity that he had lost by being an incapable fisherman. So much so that he lost this kid that meant so much to him because he was such a bad fisherman. And then his parents let him fish with him again. But the moral of the story was victory lies in the struggle, not in the outcome. And I think that your events, to me, that's what makes me think of that more than anything else. What you construct, whether it's by design or by a bonus, I just feel like for someone to run your event, but your events are uniquely that compared to anybody else's.
Well, now, see, I've never seen that or heard that comparison or thought about it. I shamefacedly admit I read that book in high school. Is it a book or just a short story?
I mean, to me, it's a book, but because I've never been a great reader. But they would call it a novella, I think. I don't even know entirely what that means. But yeah, it's 100 pages.
It's my reading. We moved a lot.
Yeah.
So everywhere we went, I got a weekly trip to the library. And so there were two things to do right away. One was to convince them to let me check out twice as many books as they normally allow.
Mm-hmm.
And the second was to convince them that, no, I know the children's books are over there. Those are not the ones I want to read.
Yeah.
And then pre-internet, while living in Memphis, I read my way through one library branch after another. You just go in and you go through and you pick all the books that are going to be good to read, and you haul home a pile every week and read them.
Yeah.
And but all the books with feelings and stuff like that, I was done with by the time I was like in junior high.
Well, it's funny, all the books that when I moved to Paris, I actually had time to read because I was having to take my son to school and he was so far, he's on the other side of Paris from where we lived. And so I could read on the bus. And all of the books so I was going to read all of the books that I was either assigned as a kid. I never read one book that I was assigned in school. And so I went back and I started to go through all those and I started, as a 41 and 42-year-old, they've just meant a lot to me. I'm about to finish Lord of the Flies, which most people read that when they're a kid. And
yeah, I read that.
The Great Gatsby, Brave New World. All of these books are actually unbelievable. I shamefacedly had always thought that there was nothing possibly that could be in there for me. But the reason they're being assigned, at least if we're being generous, is because they do have so much in them, and they. We're being assigned to us because there's something to pull out of them. But I never did. I never read one single book in junior high or high school.
Oh, man, I just read books and books and books. And when I lived in Memphis, I worked at the hospital. And it was the Baptist Hospital in Memphis, which was connected to UT Medical School.
Okay.
And you basically staff a hospital for the morning.
Mm-hmm.
In the evening, because when everybody gets up, they all need to poop, and they need to poop when they need to poop, and you need to have enough personnel on hand to help everybody get through that part of the day.
Yeah.
So, and the census went up and down, and so I was getting those piles of books from the library and take them in. Because of the type of books I liked, lots of medical students also worked as orderlies as their job.
Yep.
And so everyone assumed I was a student. And so I was left in peace to read and was able to read vast amounts of material.
Yeah, I think if I were to summarize the day here, I think this victory lies in the struggle and not the outcome. I feel like that's... So this series that I'm in right now with the media that I'm doing is looking at the solstice. I'm doing it like through the 4 turns of the year, the 2 solstices and the 2 equinoxes. And right now, winter solstice, it's a time, it's this season now, we've moved in this season where there's more light today than there was yesterday.
Thank God.
Yes. And so what I've done now is I've been interviewing people who I believe are bringing light into the world through running. And so you do that. You know, not only do people like you and they like your events, I just think that whatever you're architecting, whatever you're masterminding, whatever you're doing, it's net good for the world. And I think I just wanted to acknowledge that, and that's why I traveled to get here 36 hours. I'm in Tennessee for, I don't know, 20 hours, and then I'll travel 36 hours back home or whatever. But just, it's an honor to get to do this with you.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know that I figured that, but I'm going up to Canada.
Yeah.
And I've got to do a talk, which I'm not good at, but it's just something you can try to learn.
Yeah.
But it's for a guy who's a volunteer.
Okay.
And he's like volunteered all along. So I read up on his story.
Okay.
And thinking how similar it is that from, you don't start out who you end up to be. And the path that you take, there's a lot of similarities. And one big part of it is that you learn from all these people when you're young.
Yeah.
And that time between when you're 18 and know everything and when you're 32 and realize really how little you know.
Yeah.
But people that have been there before, and you pick up, and in the end people say, oh, you're full of wise stuff. Well, no, it's all stuff that someone else taught me. They're just gone.
Yeah.
And you think that you're more of a conduit. You're carrying it along.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of being willing to enjoy yourself. There's been tremendous pleasure in all the things I've done in my life. It requires you to get off the sofa. And, I haven't done, except for ball games, I don't see very much TV.
Yeah.
I like to turn it on and have noise in the background when I'm working, because quiet is disturbing. You can't concentrate when it's quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pleasure seeking.
Yeah. Well,
and you get to see the people do things. Because another thing that really stands out to me, because so often people say, well, you've seen all these great runners, and I know what I'm doing is nothing. Or you've gone so far, and this is my first 50 miles.
Yeah.
And you say, no, what keeps it fresh is not the people that have done it over and over till it's rote repetition, and they never push themselves, and they make sure every time they start that they're going to finish.
Yeah.
It's the person doing it for the first time, the person breaking new ground.
Yeah.
The people at the Vol State that never dreamed that they could cover that kind of distance. And once they get out there, they spend most of their 8 or 10 days not thinking they're going to make it. It seems impossible, but they don't quit, and they hang on. And then there finally comes a day that they realize, I'm going up Sand Mountain. I'm for the last 8.5 days, all I've wanted in the world is for this to be over. And I'm maybe an hour and a half away. Why am I sad?
Yeah.
Because and at the same time, they're so excited, and they hit that rock, and they can't believe they did it.
Yeah.
And then at the Fall Classic's a good one, in the Vol State, any of them, the redemption runners. They came, they were prepared for the level of challenge that you typically get, which is like, we want a target you can get. And they fail. And it's not like people think, oh, we can't let anyone fail because they'll give up. No, failure is what makes people try.
Yeah.
And they go out and they hang at the BFC, thinking of Ben, hanging his dog tag that you get for dropping down to the marathon, which is a DNF. And hanging on his mirror, looking at it every day for a year and coming back and finish.
Yeah.
And he's finished it 9 times now. But he said, it made me a better runner because I had to change what I viewed as a good performance. It wasn't enough just to, it's the race is devised to where you can't screw around. You've got to run when you'd rather walk. You've got to walk when you'd rather sit down. Yeah. You've got to push yourself when you want to give up. But then when people finish, it means something because they paid for it. I
think about my wife and I lately. I mean, we have a 6-year-old, 9-year-old, and 12-year-old, and we've both in the last week we've kind of both had this moment of we've been wishing away their childhood to some degree. And as our 12-year-old...
Don't worry, it'll be gone really soon.
As they're older and we're starting to look at them and we're like, oh my God, like it's that same thing. It's like we've been going for a long time, 12 years feels like a long time. And now we're thinking, oh my God, he'll be, and he will be gone in 6 years. He will move out of my house. And
you hope.
No, he will. He
Stick with that.
Yeah, he will go, and it's I'm starting to feel like, oh man, I've wished it away for so long, and now it's far enough away to where I feel like I can course correct a little bit and stop wishing it away, but at the same time, there's just this heavy weight of like, you want this thing, you think you want it to be over, and then you maybe can kind of see the finish line, and you think, I don't want this to ever end, Yeah. You
do go through a period at the end when you have too many adults under the same roof.
Yeah.
Especially when they go off to college and get to be independent and then come back.
Come back for summer.
And it's just, and it's this, the after college looking for the first job. And of course, this is a first world problem.
Right.
It's not like that we live. It's not like we were in a place where, well, you got to go out and get a job and pay your share of household budget or we can't feed you.
Right. Right.
And he did work, but there he was, and you just kind of grate on each other.
Yeah.
And one day they get that job, they immediately find a place to go because they're no happier having too many adults under the same roof than you are.
That's a good perspective.
And as the day that they take all their stuff and get in the car and leave, they become the most welcome visitor that you'll ever have.
Wow.
You can't wait on them to come back and see you.
Yeah.
Just as long as you don't have to live together every night.
I have this memory of my dad when I moved off to Salt Lake, and I just wanted to get away because you're exactly right. 2 adults, like I was totally financially independent from 18 on. And I remember coming back to visit one time, and the living room light was on, and the light was kind of at the back of the room. So when I pulled up, and it had been a year and a half since I seen my dad, I watched his silhouette run across the house, to come outside.
And yet, the day you left, it was like...
Yeah. Probably for like a week and a half, because when we would fight, we would fight.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly right.
And then this is the last stage, which we're in now. And we have football Saturday. That's our big, because we both love to watch football.
Yeah.
And we watch the same game. But we'll also watch games, and he's watching it at his house, and I'm watching it here. And I'll get my phone and text a comment on something that just happened, hit send, and it dings when he sent the exact same comment to me.
Yeah.
That we were typing the same thing simultaneously.
Well, victory lies in the struggle, not the outcome, and I think you like Hemingway have communicated that in your own way.
You make me feel like a classier guy because all this highbrow literature was beyond me now, even though they taught it to me in school.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, we are in the hill. Are we hillbillies? What are we right now? We're out here in the country in Tennessee. Well, thanks, Laz.
Not a lot of culture here.